Jason Wilde.
Is there anything anybody loves more than agreeing with Tausch?
Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher.
I got a hunch this isn't going to be concise either.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
I would say that you are pretty easygoing. You're actually probably more easygoing than I am.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, you're not easygoing at all.
Hey!
On 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand. Tuesday edition. God, that was terrible. What a strong start to the show edition. I listened to Matt LePay. I listened back to that appearance by the voice of the Badgers. Man, is he good. We're lucky to consider him a friend and a friend of the show.
Or
edition.
A family member.
Well, for you, it's still a little awkward if I'm being honest. The Evan Cohen friend of show, scheduled to appear edition. I feel like I said this, but maybe I just dreamed it. Aaron Rodgers insure carefully. Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. Things that make you go, edition. And the Tausch is going to the Badgers game, and tomorrow he will proclaim them a Final Four team if they win, even though he already did that and then did the pullback, which doesn't really count, but he thinks it does, edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter?
Not yet. Although I do have a helpful resource. I might try to get it going during the show today.
Elon Musk?
No.
He's busy.
It's got a lot going on.
Facebook?
No.
Oh, boy.
That one hadn't been working for a while, but we're working on that too.
YouTube?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2 YouTubes.
We need to get on, like, Twitch or something, apparently. And, of course, everything you need on WisconsinOnDemand.com and the Wisconsin On Demand app. I'm Jason Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson, who apparently is not doing anything that gets us actually on our various video platforms, is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios and back where he belongs in his undisclosed location, sipping his Quick Trip Karuba coffee. He is the Packers Hall of Famer. He's Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
Good. Why are we not on Twitch? Twitch is like a video gamers channel, right?
Son of a Twitch. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know.
Jesse?
It's not my area of expertise.
We've never pursued the Twitch avenue like some others have, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we need Twitch. I don't know if we have a big like YouTube is getting the job done for us. If we got Twitter and Facebook, which we're working on, we're working on getting back there. If we can get back, we'll be in good shape. But it's a couple of challenges this week.
Twitch is an interactive live streaming service for content spanning gaming, entertainment, sports, music, and much more. There's something for everyone on Twitch. There you go.
Seems like something.
If we continue to have issues with Twitter and Facebook, I think we would explore our other opportunities, including Twitch. But first priority is getting those back.
Let's be honest. Jesse's always on top of things, so he'll get this all resolved in a month or two. Hey, I got this email right as we were starting the show, and I don't understand how the sports books get to these ideas. But I got an email that is the NFL Coach of the Year odds, which, again, we haven't even had the scouting combine yet. Kellen Moore got hired like 72 hours ago. But I found it instructive. The first 4 on the list and 6 of the first 8 are the new coaches, which I thought was interesting. Like, the odds-on favorite is Ben Johnson, who has never coached an NFL game as a head coach before, at 7-1.
Okay.
Followed by Vrabel at 9-1, Carroll and Liam Cohen, Duval, at 12-1. Then Sean Payton also at 12-1, Jim Harbaugh 14-1, and then Aaron Glenn and Kellen Moore at 16-1. Brian Schottenheimer, the only new coach, way down at 25-1. But guess who else is 25-1?
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur. What? Like, we critiqued him sometimes harshly this past season, but is he not underrated or underappreciated? Like, as harshly as we're critiquing him, he had a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense on his team. They won 11 games. They didn't beat anybody good, but they won 11 games. They went to the playoffs for a second straight year. Like, I feel like if he's the same as Brian Schottenheimer, and we all think that was a lame hire by Jerry Jones, what does that say about how Matt LaFleur is viewed?
I don't think I would say Matt LaFleur is underrated or underappreciated. I think he is a really good coach. I think most people view him probably a tier below Shanahan and McVay. And I would say probably put him in the second tier of coaches in the NFL. And for someone that has won a lot but not won a ton of big games, I think that's fair. He's still young in his coaching acumen, and last year I think he was at his highest of all time. His stock price would have been its highest of all time after that Dallas game, and then probably at halftime of San Fran. And since then, I would say it's dropped. I wouldn't say it's like Bitcoin or any of the super volatile stocks or options, but what has he done, I think, in the last year that makes you think that it's on the rise? I think he's if I'm looking at it, I would buy Matt LaFleur stock because I think it's undervalued with the potential that you have. But to say that he's underappreciated or underranked or underrated, I think most people look at him and say he's a really good NFL coach. He has not quite figured out the elixir to be great yet. And I think that is the microcosm of this last season that we saw. This is a good team, not great. They have a lot of talent, but they have not figured out the puzzle yet. And part of that is the expectation game. I'm guessing he got more Coach of the Year votes last year than he did this year, now that we're speaking or next year.
So wait, is that 2023? 2023 or 2024 he got more?
Well, it would be 2024 and then 2025. But I understand where you're coming from. I don't know if Matt LaFleur, this is a big season for him because of Jordan Love. The expectation game last year was very high, and I don't think they lived up to it. Whereas 2 years ago, the expectation game was super low, and they exceeded it by a lot. And that's the give and take of an NFL season. And when you feel like you have a quarterback and you feel like you have the pieces, you're not going to get the same amount of love as a coach as if you're someone that's starting out at the bottom like Ben Johnson is.
Yeah, Jesse, am I wrong on this? Do you agree with Tausch that he's not underrated or underappreciated? Maybe I'm just seeing this the wrong way.
So I think I agree with Tausch that I think it's a year that's going to be significant for judging what he does long term.
Totally agree with that.
Because the first 3 years he's shot out of a cannon, 13 wins every single year. That was amazing. And stock was high. And, we got a great one, just like McCarthy started, just like Homer. And, this is the next great coach coming through Green Bay. And then since Jordan Love, or I guess the final year of Aaron Rodgers, it has been different and shaky. And we've questioned the usage of timeouts and challenges and struggles either at the start of a season or down the stretch of a season, not playing a complete 4 quarters, I think, in a single game last year. You could look to the head coach and provide some critique there. So I think looking at what next season will provide with a challenging schedule and all the things that come into play with year 3 of Jordan Love as the starting quarterback, I think it's a flux year kind of for Matt LaFleur going into next year, and I could start to see the narrative shift a little bit in the fan base this year. And if there are similar struggles next year, I think there will be more second guessing and more of a strong critique of him than there had been in any years past.
Yeah, that's fair. That's all fair. Flux capacitor season for him. Okay, I still think he's a good coach. Probably a very good coach, not a great coach. That's kind of how I view him. And maybe those are, McCarthy never won Coach of the Year either, right? And he was a very good NFL head coach. Some might say
in fairness, none of us care
successful.
if he wins Coach of the Year. I don't care if he wins a Coach of the Year. I don't.
Yeah, I don't either, but I think it's interesting only from a perception standpoint, why I thought it was interesting. And the idea that all these guys that are new head coaches who are taking over downtrodden programs, you've said it before, when you get chosen as Coach of the Year, it's usually because you turned around a dog crap program and got them going in the positive direction and exceeded expectations. So, Ben Johnson, if he takes the Bears to a over 500 record, even if they don't make the playoffs, he might actually win Coach of the Year.
He might. Everything comes back to what your expectations are and then what you end up doing. And right now, the expectation game isn't even in play. I mean, we always are going to assume. Just watching Get Up this morning, Green Bay's not really getting mentioned a ton when it comes to the NFC and, this whole talk of Philly being a dynasty. Like, come on. They won 1 Super Bowl. They had a great year. They have a great roster. But let's slow our roll a little bit. And for the people on the panel, and everybody's on vacation because it's cold and everything else, but I just heard mentions of San Francisco. I heard mentions of Detroit, Minnesota, Washington, before I heard any mention of the Green Bay Packers. So I don't know. We're definitely not going to be flying under any radars, but we're not up in the clouds. We're definitely not at top of mind when it comes to who's chasing the Philadelphia and from a national perspective. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think maybe last year I don't want to say
believe the hype,
but I think they talked all last offseason about not believing the hype and making sure you're understanding that every season stands on its own and And I'm not saying that's why the team maybe didn't play as well in the big games. I think the team was prepared and ready to go and just didn't execute against the big boys. That's the next step in this progression. And I think a lot of us as fans thought we could skip a progression. Thought, oh, wow, we skipped over some of this. And sports has a really good way of reminding you there's not any easy ways to get things done. There aren't flying jetpacks to get up to Mount Everest. The way you do it was with ice picks, shoes, a good solid base, and a lot of training to get there. Even the richest of rich folks, I don't think there's airplanes that drop people off the top of Mount Everest. I think you got to hoof it. And You got to go through that process, and in that, you're going to get stuck in some of that poop that people are leaving behind. How you navigate through that is how you end up chasing a championship.
I do think it's instructive, though, because we know
you
that
get good Sherpas. I just want to make sure you understand. I think the better Sherpas are going to help you out more than maybe if you don't get a great Sherpa. And that's where the GMs come into play and the ownership and the organizations, because you get down to base camp. You get set up with a bad Sherpa, and the Sherpa's like, well, I'm not carrying your bag, or I'm not doing this. All of a sudden, your chances of climbing that mountain probably not as good.
How do you know who the good Sherpas are? Do they, rate them on Yelp?
Yelp. Sherpa Yelp. I think there's a Sherpa Yelp. Shrelp, it might be called. Shrelp. I don't know for
sure. Shrelpa. Last thing on this. If you're telling me that they're not discussing the Packers on Get Up,
they're discussing them, but they are not top of mind, is what I said.
Well,
it is not a top of mind.
And when I think back to the last two off seasons, one as Jordan Love was ascending to the starting job and taking over for Aaron Rodgers, and then the next after he had a perfect passer rating until Matt LaFleur reinserted him into the game in Dallas in a playoff game that they won, and had that great 8-game regular season finish, and then had the 49ers on the ropes. They were constantly being talked about on national programming. And that was the difference between how people feel about them now versus how they felt about them a year ago at this time.
What happens when you get beat in the first round?
Yeah,
you get beat in the first round and you don't beat any good teams. That's kind of how it goes. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Well, and my point is that those shows know the Packers move the needle. So if they're not talking about them a lot, it means that they really don't believe in them, because if they believe in them a little bit, they know that if they talk about them, it gets them some run and gets attention. And if they're not talking about them, that's not a great sign. But maybe that's a good thing for a team that needs to ratchet up its urgency and maybe got a little full of itself after the way it finished the 2023
Do you
season.
think they got a little full of themselves?
I think Goody's comments indicate that they did. I think the stuff about the urgency.
Not about Goody. What do you think?
Here's what I think about young players. I think when young players have success, there's obviously great things that come from that, right? Confidence, having that I belong moment, right? That Rodgers used to talk about, that they know that they're good enough now. But if there is also this sort of, and again, I can't think of any players off the top of my head that I would flat out say did this. But if they have a taste of success and they think they've arrived, and then there's a complacency or a cockiness, you wonder how hard they work. And when Goody says that there has to be more urgency and they have to compete for championships, I think the undercurrent there of his comments is these guys think they've got 10 more years in this league, and they kind of feel like they've arrived, and we haven't done anything really yet. We really, in the grand scheme of accomplishment, we ain't done nothing. And I think they felt like maybe they had.
Let me make sure I'm understanding what.
This is just a working theory. I don't know this for sure, but Goody's comments make me think this.
You feel this way.
I'm not sure I felt this way until Goody said what he did.
But so you do feel that way now, though, is my question.
I feel like if Goody would say something like this, there must be fire, a little bit of fire. It's not an inferno, but there's like a little campfire at least creating the smoke, yes.
I understand what Goody's saying. I'm asking what you're saying. Because you're saying what Goody's saying. I'm curious what you're saying. Do you think that? You're saying Goody said this, but I'm asking you, 28 years in the locker room, do you think that's the case?
29. I would say this.
I didn't count last year yet. It's not over.
I did not feel like they were complacent or fat and happy or cocky or we've arrived being around them during the course of the season. But after Goody said what he did, it made me wonder if I missed some of these signs. You know, when you drop 33 passes or whatever they dropped as a team, is that an indicator that you're not spending the extra time on the jugs machine? You're not as focused.
I get what you're saying. You're saying without saying. I get what you're. So you're saying
that's not
you're
my
not
thing.
Saying.
You're the saying. You're not saying.
No, but I'm going to interpret for you. I think
good.
you feel like the receivers felt like they arrived, and then the production didn't match up with what their arrival plans were, and that's a big reason why this team didn't advance and win the big games. Is that a fair assessment?
Again, in real time, I didn't feel that way. Then
Jesse,
after
can you
hearing,
help me interpret? Because Jason's doing his
I feel like
doublespeak.
I am.
Can you help me interpret?
I feel like I'm being misrepresented here.
I cannot.
No,
I'm trying to get us streaming
You're trying
on Twitter.
not to say anything, but you
On
want to
Twitch.
say something, and I want to get it out of you.
I swear to you, I am not avoiding
I
saying
swear
something.
to you, you can accomplish a lot. In 6 years, I believe, and with Pella Windows and Doors, I will be there
What
for
are
you
you
over 6
doing?
years. I'm trying to sing to get so that we can get on time. 6 years, a long time. You can go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. I did that. Senate terms, 6 years, again, forever. And you could take up to 6 years. That's 72. Jason Spitz, Joe Thomas. Help me out with some
Joe
other
Thomas
72s.
was 73 in the pros.
72 at Wisconsin.
Okay, you were 68. No one thinks of you as 68.
Depends.
Your
who you ask.
your
A
Twitter
10
handle
year,
is not Mark Tauscher 68.
Could change it.
72 months, 6 years with zero financing. What a deal. That is not Gina. I think Jason and I both mentioned Gina threw that out and it was, you better get moving. Don't happen often. And you get a 10-year labor warranty. That's always included, so your windows and doors are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends on March 8th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Thanks to Tausch for getting us back on the clock. It's 9:22. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
I am fascinated. I think you wanted to say that you felt like the receivers got fat and happy and didn't take the step that's what I felt like you wanted to say, but you didn't want to take the
For
smoke.
someone who
That's what
doesn't
I'm
want
feeling.
people to tell him what he thinks or what he wants to say,
Well, I'm just-
you sure do it a lot. You do it
You
to
kept
Homer,
going back to
now you're doing it
Goody.
to me.
Well, Goody said, and I'm kind of sitting here like, well, I know. I just wonder what you're saying. Not Goody. We all get Goody's quotes. I'm just fat. You're a 29-year vet in that locker room.
Jerry
And
Odd.
it did.
Jerry Odd in the YouTube comments, I think, sums it up pretty well. I think Tausch is making this too hard. Yeah, welcome to my life. Wilde didn't have the impression until Goody himself seemed to question it. Then Wilde started questioning his initial impressions. Thank you, Frenchie. I didn't feel it in real time, but then Goody said that. I was like, maybe I
But were
missed
you
some of the
looking?
signs.
I guess the question is, were you looking in real time?
I'm looking.
That's the other question.
I'm looking to get to
I
the
think-
next segment.
In fairness, Geriod, I do think, and thank you, Geriod, for being such a legend in the 565 community. I think he covered that pretty well.
And Ken, I'm not dancing without music. I'm not. I'm telling you the honest truth.
You danced.
This is what I
You
thought.
did dance a little bit.
I'm gonna. Yeah, that's not all I'm gonna do.
Twinkle toes, Wilde. TTW.
More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, it's John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. Come in and discover the high standards, classic traditions, honesty, integrity, and elegance when you walk through our doors. For over 90 years, customers have returned again and again to our warm boutique setting. Trust me, because I've been there for over 40 of them. Whether it's time to come back or your first time in, stop by Goodman's Jewelers at 220 State Street today. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Get ready for an unforgettable evening of fine dining and exceptional bourbon. Join us on March 6th for an exclusive 4-course dinner at Buck and Honey's in Sun Prairie. Each course will be perfectly paired with the rich flavors of J. Henry bourbon, whiskey, cocktails, and pours. And that's not all. You'll have the chance to meet the master distiller himself, Joe Henry Jr., and hear firsthand the fascinating story behind the craft of J. Henry bourbon. Spots are limited. Visit buckandhoneys.com to reserve your seat today. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
We're on the Badgers.
I ain't going to be scared to say that this team can make a Final Four.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
This team's good enough. They are.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
I say, hey, I'll be gone today, but I'll be back from around the way. It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. Metaphysical man, but I know when the stars are aligned, you can bump into a person in the middle of the road.
All right, we need to get to Evan Cohen after I ambushed Tausch with this Coach of the Year stuff, and it morphed into complacency. But Montana Mo in the Madison YouTube comments.
M squared.
Brings up a good point. And by the way, I don't want to tell you Milwaukee YouTubers your business, but I've had some complaints in the past that you don't get enough attention. There's 3 comments right now in the Milwaukee chat. One from Boz saying Dwellers Unite. One from Seth making a suggestion about the YouTube feed. And one from the Silver Fox saying Packers aren't discussed on any show. Well, they're discussed on this show. Just ask Matt LePay.
Yeah, they are.
But I do want to get to this point quickly from Montana Mo so we can get to Evan, and that is I think Josh Jacobs and Tucker said it, meaning that there was a fat and happy complacency. And so, again, maybe my spidey sense isn't very good, but when Tucker Kraft makes a comment to that effect, and when Josh Jacobs makes a comment to that effect, and then when Goody says what he does, you have to reevaluate and maybe say, hey, pay attention, Wildy. You missed some signs everywhere, signs that maybe these guys were a little fat and happy and did get a little complacent, and that's why they didn't make the jump. That does feel a little bit like convenient criticism, as Mike McCarthy would say, because the results weren't there, so then you start looking for why. I don't did you get the sense as a player that you were around guys, you don't have to name any of them, but that there were guys that were fat and happy and complacent and didn't work as hard after they had success?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. That's always what, Mike McCarthy would always say. The biggest adversity we're going to handle is handling success. It's a lot easier to stay motivated when you're getting your brakes beat in and everybody tells you suck and everything else, because you have that innate pressure to prove them wrong. When everybody's telling you, that's why coaches will tell you the rat poison is all the positivity. And you can get caught up in that and start believing your own hype, and then reality will slap you in the face, and then typically you'll kind of flip back to your normal self and get to it. And that's why coaches and GMs want guys that are the same guy. Mm-hmm. Win, lose. Mm-hmm. We're going to prepare. We're going to go about our routines, and we're going to go out and perform, and you have a certain level of expectation of what that player can give. And obviously some players can give more than others. You just want to get the maximum out of that player. I think it's hard from the outside to look at complacency versus it's a young team that's still growing. That's right. The battle line. And I think the question we had all last year was, can these guys grow up quick enough? It was the growing pains of 2 years ago. And then this year it's more of, well, why are we not getting production from certain spots? And then other guys, is there anybody that thinks Tucker Kraft got fat and happy? No. Is there guys that think maybe that our defensive line and or wideouts? And I think that's what I was trying to get you to express verbally, but you didn't want to because you're afraid of Soundcraft, and I get it. But when you don't have the production at certain spots, you do start wondering, well, why? Is it that they're not good enough? Is it that they're still young and growing? And I think we all hope that's the case. Or is it that maybe they thought they were really good, and maybe their roles weren't growing to the degree they wanted them to grow? That's the question, and we'll find that out when we see how Goody approaches this offseason, because if it's we think they're good enough and we think they'll grow, you're not going to see this big splash. If they think, I don't think these are the guys, you're going to see the big splash. The Daryl Hannah, if you will.
All right, we need to get to Evan Cohen, but before we can do that,
John
Tausch
Candy
needs to tell us about his love
in the big splash.
I saw something on Facebook where you could bring back 3 people that are dead. John Candy was one of the options. Prince was one of the options.
Farrells.
John Lennon. Chris Farley was an option. I feel like John Candy and Chris Farley.
JFK.
I don't think he was one of the options, but be that as it may, it was an interesting concept, and I thought, why am I wasting time with this? I need to get ready for the show and watch Good Morning America, which I did. You need to tell us about Coors Light. A lot of sports on GMA lately, by the way.
Sure.
It's almost as if
sure
they
you're
listen to the
learning a lot
show.
on GMA. CBS, the whole thing. All right, Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. And make sure those mountains are blue. Don't have to worry about that the next couple days because it's chilly out there now, isn't it? That's why it is Coors Light in my hand. When I need a moment to chill, celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Evan Cohen joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
Who would have thought after 2 seasons
because we're on Wisconsin Sports
that Greg Gard would have less of a hot seat than Luke Fickell?
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
As you're putting your spring calendar together, we'd love to have you join us Saturday, May 17th for Mark Osiki's 7th Annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to support the American Family Children's Hospital UW Carbone Cancer Center. We're on the Madison Chain of Lakes at 8 a.m., then back at the Alliant Energy Center at 2 p.m. for happy hour, dinner, and live and silent auctions, plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. To sign up and get more info, go to castingforkids.org. Casting4kids.org.
Mark Tauscher here. Thanks to Chalmers Jewelers, I've gone from stressing out about holidays to absolutely loving them. Scott, Garrett, and the whole team over at Chalmers, they are my go-to squad when I need a gift for my wife. I was there for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, and you better believe I'm going to be there for Mother's Day and our anniversary. Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison has made my life so much easier. They can do the same for you.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
And Madison. The host might be irrelevant, but the conversations aren't.
By moving Chris Middleton and adding Kyle Kuzma, if you got better, it was by a very, very thin margin, right? You did not get significantly better today.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe.
But the other big question I think a lot of people are asking, rightfully so, is how's Giannis feel?
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe. Live on ESPN Madison's YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And available wherever you get your podcasts.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Looking for the new ride of your dreams this Valentine's season? Your new love is waiting for you at Metro Kia of Madison. We have over 129 new vehicles ready for you to take home today. Drive off in a brand new 2025 Kia Sportage with financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months, $17.48 per 1,000 borrowed. Or upgrade to the spacious 2025 Kia Telluride with rates as low as 4.49% for 48 months, $22.83 cost per 1,000 borrowed. Don't wait, these deals end February 28th. So head to Metro Kia Madison today.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella Windows and Doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick.
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
I'm throwing caution. What's it gonna be? Tonight the winds of change are blowing wild and free. If I don't get out of this town, I just
late than never, we get finally to our friend Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Finally is right, Jason. Jeez, Tausch time. 10 minutes late. Man, oh, man. But I did see that our guy Scott Tolzien just got hired by the Saints, so that's a good thing.
With the Saints?
That's funny that you said that. I was just about to say, since we have so many Badger alumni on the panel, I just texted Scott, congratulations. Ian Rappaport reporting from the NFL Network that the Saints are hiring former Badgers quarterback and Packers backup quarterback Scott Tolzien as their new quarterbacks coach under Kellen Moore. So congrats to Scott, one of the all-time good guys and one of our favorites here on Wilde and Tausch. Evan, speaking of backup quarterbacks, and I know Jesse has this audio ready to roll for those that did not catch Chris Canty's comments with you and Michelle Smallman. Chris Canty has an idea for a landing spot for Aaron Rodgers.
Wait, Jason. Jason, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Chris Canty did not have the idea. Courtney Cronin came up with an idea. Canty reacted to that idea because I think it's crazy, and I love Courtney, but this is ridiculous. But let's play this out. I just wanted to be fair on that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Here it is.
You bring in a guy that's won 4 MVPs, won a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, if you're Caleb Williams and Aaron Rodgers is telling you need to look at a play differently, that matters. I have a hard time being able to find a landing spot for him to be a starting quarterback in this league. But if you're talking about Aaron Rodgers accepting a backup quarterback role, Chicago might not be the worst place, might not be the worst fit for him and for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
What were you thinking there?
What are we doing?
Well, I said after that.
We like him.
Hold on a second. I said after that I think there's a better chance of me being the backup quarterback for the Bears than Aaron Rodgers being the backup quarterback for the Bears. But now, that was Courtney Cronin's idea. Where Canty was going, which I actually very much agree with, is it is interesting in if you want a job to change people's perception of you, Aaron Rodgers accepting a backup quarterback job anywhere would change people's perception of him more than if he actually just started on a team, assuming they didn't win. But after talking to Adam Schefter today, where he made it very clear, no team will start their search this offseason with Aaron Rodgers as the intended goal for that search. I am starting to now join Tausch's side, thinking he's going to have to retire.
What about Pittsburgh? I've been hearing this because Evka, what did Adam say about Pittsburgh? Because everybody now is thinking our very own Ben Brust reported and broke the news that the G&G is going to Ireland in September 28th to play the Steelers. And now we see some Twitter reports yesterday that Aaron Rodgers with Mike Tomlin. Oh, what a sexy matchup over there in Dublin. You're telling me Shefty says no?
So you're asking me who's reporting? Am I going to go with Ben Brust or Adam Schefter? And that's a debate here?
Ben Brust broke the Ireland Packers news. I don't think Schefter broke that. Shefty saying nobody has Aaron Rodgers as their choice. I said this, that I think he's going to be an emergency break glass guy. He is not going to. I don't think he wants to necessarily be in Las Vegas in March. I think if it happens where there's a contender, there's an injury, and it happens in September, October, that's the position I see old boy in. But Shefty, that's interesting that Shefty said there's not going to be any or nobody with that as that first choice.
No. Yeah, so what you just said, Tausch, is what I said today, which is probably why you said it that way, because you probably just ripped off my idea.
I've only been saying it for 2 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah, nobody heard you, though.
This morning.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. So I think that is exactly what it is. I think that he is now going to get to a point where maybe the smartest thing for him to do is kind of let it be known, I'm retiring. And then in the God forbid scenario, I don't even like projecting that somebody's going to get hurt, Tausch, but we're on the same page of think of a double-digit win team from a year ago that's a win-now team that has an unfortunate QB injury that all of a sudden, they call Rodgers, and he's like, and he, by the way, he would have every right to do this, of like, listen, I retired because I thought it was it. I didn't expect so-and-so to have an opening. This is interesting because all I want to do is win another one. Okay, yeah, wow. That's very over the top.
Well, I agree.
Okay.
You don't want me to agree with you? I'm not going to fight you on everything.
Even when you
if
guys
I believe
agree,
what you're
you
saying,
can't agree.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I'll wallflower. Sorry, Evan. I'll just sit there and wallflower. Okay.
You guys are cute.
So, by the way, Jesse also said that he doesn't think you're a fighter on the phone just now. I want to point that out. I agree with him.
I don't even know what
anyway,
that means.
Jesse kind of questioned your toughness.
That's fine. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. I don't know if that's exactly how that went, but sure.
Yeah. But, okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Let's do yes or no. Do you think right now Aaron Rodgers wants to play football next season?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think right now Aaron Rodgers, forget if it's reciprocated, Aaron Rodgers has a team that he'd like to play football for next season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you think that team that both of you are thinking of right now wants him?
Well, Shefty just said no. I trust Shefty, so I'm going to say no.
No. Wait, Tausch. I don't want people to take it out of context. What he's saying is, as we sit here today, all of the teams that seemingly have, I'm going to clarify. The teams that seemingly have openings are likely going to start elsewhere before they get to him. So let's use your Pittsburgh scenario. It is my opinion that they will start with Stafford. They will then talk to Wilson and Fields, and Ty goes to the lowest offer, basically, is how I would look at it.
Wilson gets ahead of Rodgers, right? Really?
I don't think there's any question about this. And I know this pains the two of you and Rodgers. It is way easier to envision Russell Wilson as one of the guys right now than Aaron Rodgers is one of the guys.
And about one of the guys, how did you finish up with Russ as your QB? You want to repeat
Not
that?
great,
That's what you want to sell your fan base?
Tausch,
we'll be better. Really? With what?
Tausch. That's how toxic this guy is. His market would be more so similar to a Deshaun Watson market than it would be to a Sam Darnold market. He's toxic. What do you want me to say? I know you guys have every reason historically to love this guy. He's considered toxic.
So what happened to the era when Russell Wilson, all the Seattle players were sniping at him for his weirdness and his leadership style and his selfish? Remember that? Does he just do a better?
You know what the difference is, Jason? You know what the difference is?
No, tell me.
I'm going to say, so you guys every day do a phenomenal job on Wilde and Tausch on having amazing brand partnerships that you guys endorse, right? And I think when the Wilde and Tausch endorsement comes with it, the company becomes more valuable. Russell Wilson now has Mike Tomlin doing live reads and endorsement for him. That's the difference.
We'll find out if he is. You know what? That's all words. We'll find out if there's actually an endorsement, okay? Because all this is words are cute. Let's see it. And if they sign him back, I'll say, you know what, Evco? You're right. But it's not who knows? I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do. And I'll be honest with you, I'm done talking Pittsburgh. Evan, the Green Bay Packers.
Moving on.
I was just watching you. I was watching your show and Get Up this morning. And it feels like, where do you think, because I don't know if you guys have done this yet, but Philadelphia with a dynasty, who can stop them? And it feels like to me, Green Bay, because of the early loss in the playoffs and because of questions on offense, is Green Bay now viewed as kind of like a second-tier NFC, second, maybe even third-tier NFC team? Or where do you think they fit in this landscape of who can take down the Eagles?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Can I just put a bow very quickly on the previous thing? When you say, that's all words.
If you can go really quick, yes.
Tausch, yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
For one singular season, and maybe it only will be one, Mike Tomlin signed up for Russell Wilson, okay? Aaron Rodgers has no one that signed up for him of endorsement. No one.
Okay.
That's the problem. That's the difference. Okay, so now for the Packers. I'm confused because I would say by the time I get on the air at 5 a.m. on ESPN Wisconsin, if we're talking Packers, many of my Packers opinions are vetted out when the three of us talk every week, right? Like we're going all through these hypothetical things and so on and so forth. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be looking at the Packers as this team that, yeah, they're going to go to the Super Bowl next year, or wait, did we kind of overrate everything that was going on? Because I think if people who listen to your show every week go back at the evolution of the 17, 18 interviews we did during the season, they will hear one week us saying they're right there, and the other week us saying, wait, doesn't Love need to put together a full season? Like, I am beyond confused as to how to look at this team moving forward. I don't know, guys. I really, like, how do you look at it? Are they contenders or are they going to be a hot mess?
They're not going to be a hot mess. I think it comes down to, I'm kind of going through this in my Alonzo Mourning gift stage, like, because they're good enough against average teams. They didn't have the guys to make the big plays in the big game. That just is what happened. So this offseason and what Goody does will tell you if he thinks he's got the horses and they just didn't run, or if he feels like, I got to add some horses. I'm guessing he's going to feel like he needs to add, because what happened last year wasn't good enough and the expectations changed. So I think as we sit here right now, they're still not a hot mess. I would say they're a good team that everything has to fall right. That's not how you want to. You have to have, like Philly, multiple ways to win. I don't think Green Bay's in that spot right now.
So, Tausch and Jason, like when you say add like Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, that's really good. Like those are good players. Or add like, it's time. Go get Myles Garrett. What's add?
Davante Adams.
That's
I don't know
what's
where
adding?
that would fit in your lexicon, but
yeah,
that's right.
I think like probably not what's going to excite. On the surface, it's going to excite everyone. I'm okay with the idea of adding Davante Adams as long as he has no personnel input on anything. He's one of the worst general managers I've ever seen with some of his decision making that he's made. I mean, literally horrible decisions.
Derek Carr over Jordan. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, no, but I think that's bad. But also the Raiders thing was awful. And right when the Raiders maybe could have taken a turn for the better, he's like, I don't want to be here. I want to go with Rodgers. And that was awful with the Jets. So, like, his assessment, if Davante Adams has options and he chooses the Packers, I may be nervous if I'm the Packers because his team choices have been awful.
Wow.
That's funny.
No, I mean, hold on a second. I know based on hearing Jason speak, Davante Adams seems like a salt-of-the-earth, wonderful guy, right? And a great player for the Packers. That does not mean he chooses the right teams to play on.
So I would say, first of all, he is not in the Aaron Rodgers actually having – I think I understand your point. But he doesn't have the juice to try and bring together roster decisions, right? You're saying just his own personal decisions on which teams to join. And
it's like, hey, I want to be a part of that. Uh-oh, he does?
Yeah, I'm going to defend the Raiders one only because I think both myself, but more importantly, Goody had serious doubts about how good Jordan Love would be. So I would say that the fact that Davante Adams had reservations and chose his old college quarterback teammate, maybe he just needs to steer clear of reconnecting with former teammates, which I guess I guess Jordan Love would fall under that category. But when he connected,
Jason, you're onto something. You're onto something, because is he a guy? And we've all been there in our lives in whatever circumstances where it's like you choose comfort, but that doesn't mean you choose the best opportunity for yourself.
Right. I mean, he did not see the Derek Carr thing being a one and done. I think he thought he would then play 5 years for the Raiders, and so would Derek Carr, and he'd have success. He could not have been more wrong. But getting out of there, you did say something that I'm intrigued by. You thought that the Raiders might have been on the precipice of turning things around when he said, I'm out of here, and it started not playing in games and then got himself traded?
It's not even that as much. Like, their record was kind of the same with and without him. And the Jets' record was, I think, maybe worse with him.
I mean, it was bad regardless.
I know, but this is the thing. And by the way, you want to go one step further, and I'm not trying to scare Packers fans, but let's be honest. When he wanted out of the Raiders, who were the two teams he was interested in?
Saints and Jets.
Jets and Saints and Jets. This guy's awful at picking teams. I don't want to be picked by him if I'm the Packers. I mean, think about that. It's like point. As much credit as the Packers deserve for picking him, he didn't say, get me to the Chiefs, get me to the Ravens, get me to the Bills. He said, get me to the Saints or the Jets, like on purpose? What?
Yeah. That's a fair point.
Make some good points.
Right.
Yeah. No.
That's a good point, Evan. That's your first one of the day. All right, Evco, I'm heading to the Badger game tonight. Now that football season is kind of winding down, and you got the tag and the new season coming. I turn my attention, and I'm starting to get excited. I'm starting to get those vibes after they go into Mackey and get that big dub and scoring 90, and the offense is. Matt LePay joined us yesterday and was telling us about how versatile this offense is, and they can beat you in different ways. As a great Badger alum, are you starting to get excited about this team making a push, or are you still kind of in let's wait and see mode?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I've consumed a ton of college basketball so far this season, but obviously with this team performing the way that they've performed, I need to start to get into it. I don't know how many more favors LePay can do for you. I mean, from paying for your dinners, getting you on the broadcast, joining the show, Tausch.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
At some point, you got to do. At some point, like, are you going to ever do anything for him? Let's go there for a second.
That's a fair question. That's a good question.
No, I mean, yeah, I think.
No,
how about a gift card at the end of the year, like a Christmas gift? You do a Christmas gift for LePay.
Sure. Okay.
Well, he connected Jesse with him, and now Jesse pretends to be his son. I mean, that's a pretty big
my dad
favor.
you're talking about there.
Those are really good
ideas.
No,
Tausch, this is a good question.
Can you just answer a question about sports? Like, I know you just can't do it. It's not.
Why don't you answer my question? Right. Did you get Matt LePay a Christmas gift last year?
Yes, we do all kinds of stuff. Absolutely. Yep.
That means no.
It's not.
You didn't get him a Christmas gift. That means no.
I know a good Hansel and Gretel painting that he might want to re-gift to him.
Tausch, I'll answer your question this way. This is
you don't know anything about college basketball, and you only cover the NFL. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, I've never watched the NBA either. This is the question we've always had as Badgers. What is our expectation in reality? Like, forever, it was we got to get to a Rose Bowl. That's like winning a championship. That winning a championship is not a realistic expectation. Forever, it was winning the Big Ten in basketball. Then Coach Bennett got the team to the Final Four. Then Coach Ryan got the team to the Final Four. And the championship game. So is it fair to say, hey, Greg Gard should be able to get this team to the Final Four? Is that a realistic expectation? Am I supposed to start thinking championship and they could beat like Cooper Flag in a big game? Like how did you tell me? Because I haven't watched this team like you have.
I'm in. I think they can do
Final
it.
Four team.
I'm all in.
You're in what? You didn't even answer. You didn't answer the question.
I just said I'm in. I think they can get I think the expectations are in this new fragmented NCAA. You still got your blue bloods. You still got your squads. I think Wisconsin this year, from where they've started and where they're at, are good enough to make it to a Final Four. Yes, I've said it, and I said it last year, and I'm going to probably say it again next year.
Okay,
tomorrow.
I have one other thing on a comment you just made. You ever realize that blue blood is a figurative statement? But you ever realize when you think about blue blood in college basketball, all of their uniforms are actually blue?
Indiana's blue?
Outside of Indiana.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I cut your legs off from underneath you there.
No,
Think
you
about
didn't.
the Blue Bloods. Think about
You
the
didn't.
Blue Bloods. Who's on the Blue Bloods? list?
Kentucky, UCLA, Duke, UConn,
Kansas.
Kansas.
Yep. And all their uniforms, Jason?
They're blue.
Blue.
Except for Indiana.
Blue.
UConn's
How
more
about that?
gray than they are blue. But
What?
Michigan State, not very blue.
yeah,
They're not
Are they
blue
still
blood.
blue
They're
blood?
just- No. They're just
I
good
have
at
to say.
basketball. There's a difference between the two.
What?
I tend to agree.
yeah,
actually.
that's true. I'll agree with Evan on that one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, Evan, this has been fun.
Yeah, really enjoyable for everybody involved.
We'll talk to you next
We can
week.
agree on one thing. Here's what we're going to agree on today. Devontae Adams, not the guy you want to pick your next destination.
Why? Real quick, I went through a Google search. I was trying to find a picture of you and Tausch together. Do such pictures exist?
Yes.
No, we keep those to ourselves. And the only one that we have is where we see Russell running away from us outside of the wheels up.
True.
That's the only picture that I've
100%
seen.
correct.
And I'm not going to put that out for transcription.
I agreed on all of the everything said. So, all right, I got to go, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye. That is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Not how you start, but how you finish. John Tonji a game-high 32 points in Wisconsin's 94-84 win at number 7 Purdue. His postgame words citing teamwork made the dream work. Audio courtesy CBS Sports.
We're just trying to make a play, for our teammates. I want to give a shout out to all my guys, from the top to bottom. And Kamari McGee got ejected, and that's my brother. And we wanted to get it. We told him in the locker room at halftime, we're going to get this win for you. And we came out here and competed. And I'm so proud of these guys for this.
20 wins now for Bucky, the 7th time they've reached that mark under Greg Gard. They'll host Illinois Tuesday night.
Get 0% interest for up to 6 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Our team installs year-round, so why wait? Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Ben Brust here to tell you about the Princeton Club. If you're looking for a place where you can better yourself while having a wonderful atmosphere, you have it at the Princeton Club. Strong communities, strong body, and strong mind. All it takes is one small step to start today. You will see that you have everything you need in order to achieve all of your goals. Find your better tomorrow at the Princeton Club. 8 Madison locations where you go in there, you take a tour, and you realize this is a place for me. Find more at PrincetonClub.net.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture. How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious accident? It's free. Yes, free, as in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. There's never a fee until we win your case. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Dane County's largest selection of the all-new 2025 Equinox has arrived at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Lease the 25 Chevy Equinox LT for just $299 per month. New colors, more storage, and all-new tech. 36-month, 30,000-mile lease. Must qualify for lease loyalty or conquest rebate. $19.95 due at signing plus taxes and fees. To approved credit through GM Financial. No security deposit. Visit Zimbrick Chevrolet Sun Prairie and ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Offer ends March 3rd.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Thanks as always to Evan Cohen. We enjoy our back and forth with him. So I really did. I wanted to find a photo of you guys together because without the video stream on Twitter, I'm just posting the YouTube links, and so I was trying to get creative. Looks like you did some fun events during your career. You're holding a pitcher of water, a water pitcher of some sort, standing next to a surfboard. Did you go to some Super Bowls to do some promotional work?
I think what that means is, Jesse, you better start getting Twitch up and running so that we don't have to keep looking for pictures. That's what that tells me. Doesn't it?
And I think I finally found a photo of you guys together. It looks like you're at the Super Bowl back during the Morning Men era. You remember this?
Okay. I don't. No. I'm just not as enthralled by that as you are, I guess.
I don't know. These pictures of you with a hat, you look kind of trendy, actually. Did you look at this picture of you and William Henderson? You look hip. You look cool.
Awesome. Good.
Someone commented on the picture, and I don't know if this has come up on the show before, but you get some comparisons to Jack Black.
Okay.
Like if
if
someone was going to play you in a movie, Jack Black often comes up as the actor that would come to mind. How do you feel about that?
I understand why people feel that way. I can understand the I guess resemblance, if you will. He's heavier set, so I get it. I'm not a fan, but yeah.
Not a fan of the comp?
I would not.
Or not a fan of the actor?
I would say I think he's done some good stuff. I think the Shallow Hal was I still think George Costanza as like a womanizer is one of the worst casting jobs I've ever seen in that regard. But
with a tail.
Jack Black, I think it's I can't sit here and tell you that it's not a fair comp. I think it is.
Okay, fair enough. This has been Photo Time with Tausch, which he did not particularly enjoy.
Let's never
Where's
do that
Evan?
again.
Can we get him back on here? Holy cats.
Well, yeah, never mind. All right, the 10 o'clock hour
Nicole
starts.
Briscoe coming up next.
Yeah, let's see. Where's Boog? Boog. Let's get Scampi.
It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out, 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. A big test for the Wisconsin Badgers tonight. 11th ranked in this week's AP poll, the highest ranking of any Big Ten team. The Badgers host the Illinois Fighting Illini tonight at the Kohl Center. ESPN Bet listing the Badgers as 3.5-point favorites for tonight's contest. It's a revenge game. Illinois beat Wisconsin in Champaign back on December 10th, one of 5 losses the Badgers have been handed this season. Tip time tonight is set for 7:30, nationally televised on FS1. If you missed any of the conversation previewing tonight's game, recapping the big win against Purdue, and more with Badgers radio broadcaster Matt LePay on Wilde and Tausch yesterday, find the full podcast available Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Not the only college game tonight. Also, the 16th-ranked Marquette Golden Eagles hosting the Seton Hall Pirates. Seton Hall coming off a win over UConn over the weekend. Tip time at Fiserv Forum set for 8 o'clock this evening on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins with more discussion of photos on the internet with Tausch. No, it begins with Tausch's trip to the Kohl Center tonight for Badgers Illini. Now, I just heard you with Evan Cohen proclaim them a Final Four team. We know things did not go over especially well from the check the tape experience of last week when we rewound a year previous to they're a Final Four team and then they hit the skids. But you've already declared them a Final Four team now twice this year after you had said that you would make that declaration after the Illini game, which leaves us in the awkward position of, what if they lose tonight with you in attendance?
You don't win them all. You don't win them all.
Okay.
Here's what I think and why I like this group. They have, and I thought Matt yesterday, LePay put some really interesting, he's obviously around it a ton. The fact that they can score in multiple ways, I think the question mark is always going to be, how well, if you're not shooting the three well, do you have other ways to do it? And that's where I think Tonje steps in and his ability to get to the free throw line and what he can do. But you have two bigs that can shoot. You have all kinds of variety and flexibility within what you're doing, and you can match up and do different things. And I think defensively, the beginning of the year, it was a hot mess. I think they're kind of everybody's finding their roles. And as they find that guys, whether McGee gets thrown out of a game and somebody has to step up and get out there and play more, guys are elevating themselves because the unity of that team and the fact that they're all buying into their roles. That is the hardest thing in the past. And now it's that much more difficult to get guys in a more mercurial world than we've ever lived in college sports. To get guys to buy into roles that maybe aren't what they want and what they think individually is best for them. To buy into roles for betterment of team. That's why Gardo deserves much love, because he has found that and he's empowered his team to find their roles and let them go about their business. That's what's been impressive. And, will they win a final? I don't know. But they are well positioned because of how this team has been built and how they've accepted the roles that they have.
So, Jesse, you mentioned in the rundown that John Audius was Debbie Downer, one of the classic SNL characters we discussed yesterday. She finished 4th in the power rankings from Rolling Stone. What made John Debbie Downer, and is that influencing your view of this basketball team?
John, so John and I hosted the Great Dane Huddle on ESPN Madison last night. He specifically said he did
What
not.
did Barry Alvarez say?
Barry was not with us last night.
Okay.
We've entered the football offseason, so Barry will be heard occasionally, and some of our other shows too. We got a big schedule, and he'll be joining us, I'm sure, a time or two throughout this offseason. So plenty of places you'll be able to hear Barry Alvarez outside of the football season, not on the Great Dane Huddle regularly. But John Audius last night said he did not want to be called Debbie Downer, but he did point out that Purdue still shot over 50%, I believe it was, from the field in the second half. They still scored a ton of points. Wisconsin just outscored them in that game on Saturday afternoon. And so looking at a team, it drew the comparison to the 2011 Green Bay Packers. A team that was 15-1 and put up a bunch of points, and we were all infatuated with how great the offense was, and a few people throughout the course of the season, John Audius playing the role of those contrarians last night, said, well, the defense hasn't been great, and everyone said, it doesn't matter, look how many points we can score. And then you get to the NCAA tournament, in the Packers' case, of course, the playoffs with the Giants, you get a team that figures out a good defensive strategy and executes it, and suddenly you're not able to outscore that opponent come playoff time. And so that was the 1 point that no one is talking about in this celebration the last 48 hours of Wisconsin basketball after the big win against Purdue and looking ahead to this big contest tonight at the Kohl Center, that defensively, it's not just a one-game sample size. They haven't been the strongest defensive team this year, especially compared to Badgers teams of years past. So let's not overlook that as we assess the team. They still can be a lot better, even though they're 11th ranked in the country this week.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And if there has been a weakness, that would be it, and that will, as Barry Alvarez used to say, that'll get your blank beat. You have to have defense, in football terms, defense and running game go well on the road. It is a lot harder to execute a fine-tuned offense on the road because of all the things. In the NCAA tournament, bigger facilities, especially you start getting into the Final Four, not as easy to shoot the ball well. And when you do it, and that's why I think the ability to score in different ways has been a big plus. But, yes, defensively, you have an off shooting night in the March Madness, your blank is beat, and you're gone. And to the comp to the 2011 Packers, I think that offense was really special. That defense was god-awful. I don't think I would say that this defense isn't the standard Wisconsin Badger defense, but this is not the standard Wisconsin Badger offense. So we'll find out. We'll see. We're a couple weeks away from kind of really getting into the teeth of it, but you just love the trend line of where this team is going, and hopefully tonight they continue that trend.
We'll shift gears into NFL free agency and a piece that our friend Rob Demovsky did on ESPN.com. Coming up, want to remind you, though, that if you haven't made the switch after all these years of me telling you that it was the best decision I could have made, what's holding you up? Make the switch to Associated Bank. If you're a Packers fan, it's the perfect place for you. You get 10% off the Packers Pro Shop with Packers Checking. You get the Packers Checks. You get the Packers Debit MasterCard. Badgers Checking. You get 10% off at Bucky's Locker Room. You get the Badgers Checks and the Badgers Card. Brewers Checking. All the perks that you want as a sports fan, but more importantly, all the best customer service. Everything you could ask for and more. That $50 overdraft grace zone. The early pay on your direct deposits. Access to your money up to 2 days early. And, of course, Credit Monitor, which keeps track not only of your credit score for free, but also keeps you safe with credit and fraud alerts and more. So go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more and make the switch today. We'll talk some NFL and Packers free agency Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella Windows and Doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Tuesday Night Hoops on Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania is where you can find the area's best high school basketball games all season long. Hi, it's Jesse Nelson. Catch star recruits, rivalries, and state championship contenders every Tuesday night. It's Tuesday Night Hoops on Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania.
Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania on 100.5 ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
One word captures why so many businesses choose to do business with James Imaging Systems. Local. Local business technology. Local support. Local accountability. Listen to James' client Daniel Bertelson, RE/MAX Preferred CEO.
James Imaging is one of the vendors that we use to move all of our documents and set up networks and utilize their equipment for scanning and storage purposes.
Local support works for James' client Josh Gabel, Service Manager with Kirsch Appliance.
Yeah, things happen. They can come out and fix it and leave us to what we're needing to do.
Jennifer Wilger, Purchasing Manager with Baker Manufacturing, likes the local accountability from the James Imaging Systems people.
They're an absolutely wonderful partner for us. They go above and beyond.
Local business technology, local support, local accountability. Get it all from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
We're on the Brewers.
They're really good at identifying talent. They're really good at developing talent.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
This is one of the best organizations in Major League Baseball.
100.5 ESPN.
This ain't a good time, but when is it ever? I know the perfect time, and maybe that's never. So don't you dare leave me now. Throw my heart on the ground. 'Cause tonight ain't the night for sorrow.
All right, before we get to Rob Demovsky, well, not as a guest because it's the off season, so he's not joining us.
He quit.
Another one of our favorites is Bill Schroeder. Not Bill Schrader, but Bill Schroeder. And the Brewers just announced, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bill Schroeder will be doing ESPN's national broadcast of their opening day matchup with the Yankees alongside Joe Buck. So if you're in the car or you're driving around and you can't watch, hey, 100.5 ESPN Madison and 620 WTMJ, your radio homes for the Milwaukee Brewers. But I'm happy for Rock because now people get to see what we get to see all the time, that he's awesome. And I'm glad he's not paired up with Boog Sciambi and Nicole Briscoe.
That is a plus.
Speaking of our favorite people.
That's what's really cool, by the way, is the Brewers-Yankees. I don't know if everybody realizes. It's on ESPN at 2 o'clock on March 27th, and it's the first game of the season on opening day. Like, it's kind of like a standalone game. Like, it's a really cool, like, feature game to open up the season. So, for as much as we wish that the Brewers got more national publicity, like, this is a huge spot to play the Yankees on opening day.
Yeah, very cool. So I saw that come across my Twitter. I didn't see any video there because our videos aren't posted there right now. But I saw this, and I thought, hey, that's really interesting. Also, what I found interesting this week was something that our buddy Rob wrote at ESPN.com and ESPNWisconsin.com, and that was him looking at the Packers' impending free agents and some potential cut/trade players. And I wanted to get to this, but before we do, I wanted to, you know how much I love to read. I want to read the opening portion of
Ironically, quick question, what's the last book you read?
I'm reading The People's History of the United States.
And that's the last book you've read.
Sounds hefty.
What's it about?
Well, I'm about 100 pages in.
Give me the scoop. What?
It's the history of the... What do you mean? I thought the title was... It like goes back to the Revolutionary War and all the way through. I'm only 100 pages in.
Is this like the History of the World Part 1?
No, it's not a comedy. It's like the People's History of the United... I'll go grab it during the break, and then I'll send you a copy so you can read it, because I know you're a voracious reader. Rob Demovsky writes, and I quote, "There are no easy off seasons in the NFL. For the Green Bay Packers, however, this one should not be overly taxing." I believe his theory there is that the decisions are largely clear-cut, and there aren't a lot of decisions to make to begin with. Agree or disagree, old T?
So I would agree, and here's how I would rank the decisions. And I'm sure Rob went through this.
Well, we're gonna do that next.
Oh, okay. I would agree with Rob's assessment. I would agree with Rob's assessment from a league and a business that is typically 20 to 30% turnover on your roster, and there still will be. I would think it'll be closer to 20 than to 30 this year. This team, I don't think they're, especially at your starting positions, you don't have monster decisions to make as far as paying guys and cutting guys. It's very limited in an NFL world where it's usually a lot more complicated.
One thing we can all agree on is if you're considering renovating your bathroom.
Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that assessment that Rob and I have? That it's pretty...
I think from a perspective of who's currently on the team that will either become a free agent or you must decide whether to move on from them, yes. From the perspective of you got a hell of a lot of draft classes now that are stacked up, starting to come into their elevator years, theoretically, and figuring out who's going to get paid. Rob always brings this up, and I think it's very interesting. When we were in our conversation with Jason Vrabel, the wide receivers coach / passing game coordinator, and we were doing the whole dance about the number one wide receiver before this season, and he said, we'll know who the number one receiver is when somebody gets paid. To me, that's part of the problem here, is because I'm not sure anyone has made it clear that they're the one who has to get paid. You were thinking maybe Christian Watson would. He had a big portion of the season where he was healthy but not productive. Then he starts getting going. Then Romeo Doubs is sick, doesn't play. He plays when he probably shouldn't have, and he blows out his knee. Romeo Doubs stays home from work, has 2 concussions, and his performance is inconsistent. The 2 guys left from the 23 class did not make the year 2 jump in Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks. So that's as clear as mud right now who should be the guy that gets paid. We've talked about Zach Tom, but Zach Tom, by his own admission, did not have a great season, in his own opinion. Now, does he believe that the torn pec was a factor? He does. Do we think he's still a good player? We do. But he's going into a contract year. We like Rasheed Walker on this program. Is he a franchise left tackle that you want to pay because he's in the last year of his deal, former 7th-round pick? So while maybe the move on from or re-sign or don't that we're going to go through are fairly clear-cut, there's a lot of other stuff to figure out. Sounds like they're going to give the 5th-year option to both Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Mm-hmm. Are both of them going to turn out to be really good players? We've seen glimpses, but I don't have sufficient evidence to say they're both going to really blossom. Right? So, yes, the clear-cut decisions on guys that are either needing to be either cut or kept or needing to be re-signed or let walk, yeah, I agree with you and Rob on that. But I don't think their offseason is as clear-cut as a whole, because they also need to add some pieces in many of our opinions. And how they're going to do that, I don't have any idea. Tausch, tell us about Kohler Services.
If you adding pieces, you need a new bathroom. You've been putting it off for a while. Why? Get to it. It's time. It is time to turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, 0 interest with 0 financing for your Lugstone shower remodel. Plus, you get that free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. And as always, fast professional installation is always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
We'll see if things are as simple as Rob and Tausch think it might be as we go through Rob's story. We'll do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family-owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Get your Pop-A-Shot on and compete to be the Bud Light Mini Hoops Mania champion. Hey, it's Ben Brust inviting you to Bud Light's Mini Hoops Mania in Madison. A trip to Vegas during the best time of the basketball year is on the line. On February 22nd, head to the College Club from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. or Red Rock from 10 to 11 p.m. to compete in the first round of Mini Hoops Mania. Go all the way and have a chance to win $10,000 in Vegas. It's Bud Light's Mini Hoops Mania. Must be 21 years or older to play. Also enjoy responsibly at Wando's and Jordan's Big Ten Pub.
At Metro Ford of Madison, we're making it easier than ever to find the Ford of your dreams. Check out this month's unbeatable offers, like the 2024 Ford F-150 with 3.9% APR for 66 months, plus $2,000 flex buy cash, $60.86 cost per thousand. Or drive off in the 2024 Ford Escape with 1.9% APR for 66 months, plus $2,000 flex buy cash, $15.97 cost per thousand. Hurry, these offers end February 28th. Head to Metro Ford of Madison today or visit metrofordofmadison.com.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Do you think there's a chance that this is strategic by Josh Jacobs? Maybe it creates a little bit of pressure on Goody to be like, hey, not only do the fans want a number one wide receiver, but the players you are paying to play football for you say you're not doing your job because these guys that you drafted, they're good players. They're not Devontae, they're not T. Higgins.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
Food's here at Quick Trip, and it's ready when you are. Hungry and on the go? How about a corn dog? Crispy, golden cornmeal batter coating around a juicy hot dog. So delicious. Craving pizza? Quick Trip's Pothole Pizza is just what you need. Thin, crispy crust and a savory sauce, piled high with a blend of cheese. Food's here. Fuel up at your one-stop shop for snacks and meals that hit the spot. Only at Quick Trip.
ESPN Wisconsin celebrates National Girls and Women in Sports Day. All month long, celebrate with ESPN Wisconsin's special program, Lead Her Forward, hosted by Jen Latta and Michelle Smallman, presented by Love Madison Volleyball. Celebrate National Girls and Women in Sports Day on ESPN Madison and Wisconsin On Demand.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
Diving stop by Turek. To his speed, he throws to first in time. Send the Gold Glove to Milwaukee.
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
All right, Jesse, since nobody wants to listen to me read on the air, I will not read this story verbatim, but let's start with the one guy that I think was on the tip of Tausch's tongue when I cut him off and said we were going to do that next. And that man is the man that he thinks they should franchise tag, based on our conversation yesterday, and pay $6 million for the 2025 season, and that seems a little ridiculous to me, but that is Brandon McManus. Am I correct?
No,
is he top of the list?
You're not. No,
okay.
Not. Top of the list is we're getting rid of Jair. We're not going to pay Jair. I think that's decision one. I'm going to kind of go in order of what I think will happen, and then I want to go through the importance of what I believe we need to do.
So what you're telling me is the way this has been set up on the rundown is in no way, shape, or form going to be followed.
No, I haven't seen the rundown, so let me pull that up.
Well, whose fault is that?
It's on me.
I took extra.
Jesse, I'm not blaming you.
I took extra time this morning. You know what? It's because Rob outlined this with the 4 categories of must resign,
Rob Demovsky.
let him go, pay him what he deserves, or pay him cheap. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to adjust this for it. So I read the whole story, had the whole
Barnwellian.
had to come up with the list of 11 guys, reshuffled the deck to put it out here for us to review the way that I thought was better. Now you're saying,
No, I want to go through that list, and then I want to, in the next segment, which looks like it's open, I want to go through how I think it will go. So, all right, let's go ahead and list the players, and we'll determine more or less, or what's the other option? Get rid of?
Looking at yesterday's rundown?
No, let go release, it says.
Yeah.
I don't see any open segments left.
Keep Cutter maybe.
Okay. All right, let's roll.
All right, well, so let's start with Brandon McManus. Is that an easy call? You said you were going to franchise tag him.
Well, here's what I said. We discussed franchise tags, and I said he'd be the only guy that I would do that for on this roster. Obviously, I would like to keep him on a short-term deal, spread the money out a little bit more, but it's going to cost what it's going to cost. And you said, $6 million for a kicker. Oh, my gosh. Like, clutch your pearls a little later, old boy. It's the price of doing business. You want a kicker you're going to count on in the playoffs, you got to pay him. And you can sit there and say, well, we'll find somebody. Once bitten, twice burned, Gutekunst. And I think he's going to learn a lesson. I don't need to go play this game anymore. We have cap space. I think in an ideal world, you sign him to like a 2 or a 3 year deal. You give him a year and a half of guarantees. You spread it out, and you're going to pay him $5 to $6 million. That's what it's going to cost. And I don't think, watching what we've seen, he makes kicks. He's going to be good. Pay him. Keep him. You want to go through the song and dance of trying to find another guy and trust Rich Bisaccia to find somebody's brother that can maybe make a kick? All right, great, go ahead. I ain't interested in that. I'm interested in trying to win, and win now. And that position shouldn't be something that I'm constantly wasting energy and time. What's the value of time over money and headspace? I don't have that equation. But I guarantee you this, Goody spent more headspace time than he ever wanted to trying to replace Mason Crosby. That I can guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
And is it worth a couple $1 million to be able to sleep at night and be able to look at other parts of your team? I would think yes. So, McManus, resounding, yes, bring him back.
But you are not interested in paying him top dollar, or you are? Like, top of market, does he deserve that?
Could I not be more crystal clear than what I just was? Maybe
I don't know why you're so irritated with me all week.
No, I'm not irritated. Because, Jason, I just went through. It was like you didn't listen to a word I just said. I said, yes, pay him what it's worth. Don't clutch your pearls over $800,000. It's going to cost you $5 to $6 million. So I think that means pay him.
All right? But
well, am I crazy? Now I'm starting to wonder, did I not just say what I said?
That's
Don't
not
get
the
frustrated
question.
with me.
Oh, I'm
Don't
frustrated with you.
Well, what are you frustrated about? If anybody should be frustrated, it'd be me here.
Yes, of course. Yes, you the burden you carry on this program
Clutch
is
your
so
pearls.
difficult.
Clutch your pearls a little more there, old T.
So,
well, old boy was pearl clutching over a couple bags of popcorn at the Packers sell. Yeah, that's really what it was. All right, continue.
No, I just got done. Maybe you weren't listening. Discussing how you have these stacked up draft classes, which Goody mentioned, by the way, after the season, that they have in-house candidates that are potential extension guys, right? We talked yesterday, for those that tuned in. If you didn't, you can find it on Wisconsin On Demand or on YouTube, but not on Twitter or Facebook, that maybe they need to extend Elton Jenkins now because he's got like a $17 million cap number. So I understand that you're saying that in a vacuum, because I was listening, that Brandon McManus, in your estimation, is worth $5 or $6 million per. But it's not in a vacuum. there are other contracts that you want to extend guys with. And if you give your kicker $6 million a year, that is money you cannot spend elsewhere. And he was in line before these allegations from his flight across the Atlantic with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was getting, with his track record previously, a $3.6 million one-year deal with the Washington Commanders. So did he really do enough that you want to give him a multi-year $5 to $6 million per year contract when you have other guys coming up that you need to pay? That is what I was trying to ask. I'm sorry I didn't articulate it as clearly as need be.
Do you want to have stability at the kicking
I don't think
position
he's as good as
season?
Mason Crosby. I think he had a good run, but I don't think he's worth $6 million a year. I don't think he belongs in the same financial class as Harrison Butker. Do I want him on my team if I'm Goody and Rich Bisaccia and Matt LaFleur? I do. But what is his market? If they don't re-sign him immediately, if they don't extend him before free agency, how in demand will he be? I don't know the answer to that. Because he was on the streets when they needed him.
It's because he had a crime. Because he was under investigation, and the team cut him. That's why. Now that was cleared up.
Like, does given what's going on with other players, and specifically another kicker, when there's something like that, whether it was settled out of court or whatever it was, does that just disappear now because he missed only one kick in the regular season?
Here's the deal, man. If you sign him and think through and say yes, then all of a sudden now you're going to say, well, we had to pay you less because of the allegation. That's not how it works.
Right, but they were
you
desperate
want to stand
when they
You
signed
want to
it.
stand on the morals of what you want. You stand on them. And when you decide not to, you have said, we're okay with this. And you know what? That's fine. That's up to you to make that decision. But if you're going to say he's going to get less, maybe there are some other teams who are like, we don't want any part of him. Great. That will mean less value for him. All I'm saying on the McManus thing is we've seen this movie. The Packers should pay him what the market will dictate. If that means it's $6 million, that's what you pay him. If you can get him for $4 million, great. Good job, Goody and Russ. I don't think in a market where the cap is at $275 million, $6 million for a starting kicker that's going to determine 3 or 4 games. You don't think a team will pay $6 million for a win? Yeah, they will.
So do you let him
And you
get
can
to
say that
markets?
he's not as good as Mason. Mason had a great run. Mason wasn't good in 2012, and Mason at the end. So it's about what you can do. And he missed 2 kicks last year for this team in a year when we couldn't make a kick. For really a year and a half, we'd miss a kick a game. Old boy came in, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to kick an extra point. When it was Anders or Narvi, you're sitting there like, you ain't getting up to the bat. You ain't grabbing a Coors Light. You're like, oh, boy. You have sevens in your little pocket pool deal game. You're looking at it saying, I don't know, I think 7-6 is going to win that bracket, not 7-7, because they missed a bunch. Old boy didn't miss an extra point. So is that worth an extra $500K or $1 million? It is, in my opinion. And I thought I was crystal clear with that. Obviously I wasn't, and shame on me for not pounding that into your head that I feel like you pay what the market is going to make you pay for Brandon McManus. Now, Jason,
so you
ideally,
let him get to markets
Russ,
and dictate that?
Ideally, Russ sits there and says, we'll give you a 3-year, $14-15 million deal, and we'll give you 8 guaranteed. That's the game you play, so then that cap number is more in line with what you're hoping. That's what I hope happens. But I just don't know, at his age and where you're at, I'm not sure if you think he's going to give you 3 more. You got to flip the coin. I don't know. You don't want to commit, and that's where if you have a 1 year, it is what it is. But it's a little more of a cap hit. In a year, you still are paying your tackles nothing. You're paying as we're sitting here right now, you got your wide receivers making like $12 million as the whole group. This would be the year that you would, if you really feel it, that you can win and you need a kicker. you maybe pay a little bit more for that spot to be solidified. That's all I'm saying. Or maybe Rich has got another young kicker that he wants to take a flyer on, and then everybody will say, well, I didn't want him. What do you mean? I didn't want Anders. Anybody up there saying I wanted Anders anymore? I didn't notice anybody really going to bat for Anders at the end of his time in Green Bay.
No, they definitely weren't. Just to be fair to Braden Narveson, he was 16 for 16 on his extra points. It was Anders Carlson, who you never knew if he was going to make the extra point. But unfortunately, the Narv dog.
Did you feel like Narvi was going to make every extra point? I certainly didn't. And especially if it was on the right hash, I was like, oh, boy.
Unfortunately, the Narv dog was 12 of 17 on his field goal attempts, and none of those were from 50-plus. So he went 12 for 17 without even attempting a 50-yard field goal.
Jesse, do you want the Packers to draft a rookie and roll the dice, or do you want him to pay McManus what you got to pay?
Hey, that's man.
You get those are your two choices.
It's the same conversation we had last offseason. If you think the team can win a Super Bowl next year, keep the veteran in place, pay a little extra to make sure you're dependable in that spot. If you're not worried about winning every game and you're okay with a development type year like we were 2 years ago, then go with a young guy. But McManus is there, pay him. Let's go.
All right. Jason, which way are you going?
I'm not paying him top of market money.
Okay.
I'll pay him $4 million a year, which is like the bottom of the top quartile.
Okay, don't pull that because Jason, and I give you credit, you stick with grab free agents that make no money and are MVPs. Like, I get that's what you want, and kudos to you to do it. I know that's in your wish list, and that's great. You want to get Jan Stenerud for $100,000. Like, you want Jan Stenerud in his prime kicking for $100,000. That's not the world. So the question
years old. He was popular when Dallas was on top of the TV ratings.
Single bar kicker. I love those.
Mark Mosley.
The question is, McManus at $6 million, which is top of the franchise tag, or a young, unproven rookie. Who do Packer fans want kicking for the G&G next year? It's not. I'd like to get McManus at $3 million because no blank. You know what I mean? You are something else, dude. You are something else. Well, I want Bond at $2 million, and then I'd like Rasheed Walker to keep playing at his current salary till he's, that's ideal. That'd be great. It's not how it works, old boy.
These are the level to which you misrepresent my opinions make me even less willing to have opinions.
Jesse, did Jason not on his, and I give him credit, he wrote it on a cocktail napkin, sign a Zach Bond type, a depoy for league minimum. That is in essence what he said. Am I crazy to represent him that way?
Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas,
all
Keyshawn
pros.
Nixon,
those guys were
all examples.
Devondre Campbell was an all-pro playing on a league minimum. That's like Zach Bond.
Right,
yeah.
And so Goody has done it at least 3 times with guys. So it's not like it's some sort of far-fetched concept that the Packers have never done before. Oh, you want
so
to
why are you mad at me for
and Bonds and not have to give up
so
much for him?
Jason, why are you mad at me for representing your conversation that way? Because that's what I'm saying.
It as if I'm an imbecile. Like
no, I represent it as it's Captain Obvious. Yes.
Don't be using my phrases.
Oh, you
One
invented
call,
Captain
all.
Obvious. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's a phrase. One call, that's all. Grubeloff says one call, that's all it takes to get started on the process if you've been injured in an accident and you don't pay until they win. So don't worry about that. Worry about getting better, recovering from your serious injuries, and making sure you hold the offending party accountable, and that's what they will do for you at Grubeloff says. One call, that's all. 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Grubeloff says one call, that's all. We'll get to more of Rob's article and the players that are on it, and eventually we'll get to Tausch's plan of discussing Jair Alexander. That's all still ahead. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Baseball season is heating up.
Fly ball, center field. This is deep. Outman back at the track. Bye-bye baseball!
Get ready for the return of Brewers baseball on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable base sets, plus get $300 in Steinhoffels cash. Only at Steinhoffels and Steinhoffels.com. John Tanji, a game-high 32 points in Wisconsin's 94-84 win at number 7 Purdue. His postgame word citing teamwork made the dream work. Audio courtesy CBS Sports.
We're just trying to make a play, for our teammates. I want to give a shout out to all my guys, from the top to bottom. And Kamari McGee got ejected, and that's my brother. And we wanted to get it. We told him in the locker room at halftime, we're going to get this win for you. And we came out here and competed. And I'm so proud of these guys for this.
20 wins now for Bucky. The 7th time they've reached that mark under Greg Gard. They'll host Illinois Tuesday night.
Get 0% interest for up to 6 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Our team installs year-round, so why wait? Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
As you're putting your spring calendar together, we'd love to have you join us Saturday, May 17th for Mark Osiki's 7th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to support the American Family Children's Hospital, UW Carbone Cancer Center. We're on the Madison Chain of Lakes at 8 a.m., then back at the Alliant Energy Center at 2 p.m. for happy hour, dinner, and live and silent auctions, plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. To sign up and get more info, go to castingforkids.org. Casting4kids.org.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because they never charge over the MSRP.
When it comes to your body, you want to trust a doctor, and you want to trust the experts. That's why the only place that you should consider going for GLP-1s and semaglutide is Carbon World Health in Madison, because they're run by Dr. Nestor Rodriguez. They have a workout facility and trainers to help you reach your goals, and they can help with dietary suggestions. The experts for semaglutide and GLP-1s is Carbon World Health. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez.
I'd love to be in a game like that. I'd love to coach a game like that. Oh, they may not see a pass in the second half.
Subscribe to the Great Dane Huddle podcast on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcasts.
I say go, baby, go, go, go.
You can read Rob Demovsky's story, which I want to retweet it here, and X weeks asked me, do you want to read the article first? Which I think is a nice little fail-safe that they use there. Now, I could answer that by saying no, because I've already read it. I read it when it came out a couple days ago. But generally, yeah, probably shouldn't reshare things you haven't read. I think that's probably good advice. Thank you,
I am
Elon.
Guilty as charged on that, though. I do that a lot.
I've heard that about you. All right, Jesse, let's start on the offensive side of the ball. You know what? Let me pull that back. Like Tausch pulled back his Final Four call earlier in the week. I know Tausch really wants to get to the Jair component, and I would love to start the 11 o'clock hour there and shuffle the deck a little bit, and we'll save the offense, both the skill position guys and the offensive line, for after we do Jair. So let's do this. Here are the guys on defense, because there's not a whole lot of sexy on this list. Robert Rochelle the musical. Corey Ballantyne, half of the law firm of Ballantyne and Valentine. Isaiah McDuffie. Eric Wilson, Body Beautiful, as he was coined by...
Forgot about that.
Rich Bisaccia. Not me. It was not me. I did not nickname him that. And TJ Slayton, who definitely is not Body Beautiful. Any of those guys that you view as really need to get this guy back on this football team? Or is there anyone out of that group that you would say, if I have to bring someone back from this group, this is the guy I want?
Who makes the biggest special teams impact?
Eric Wilson, I would say. Robert Rochelle's a good special teams guy.
I don't think, and this is not to diminish what these guys are doing, if you're expecting Edgerrin Cooper to take a big jump, which I am, and if you're going to give the fifth-year option to Quay Walker, I think both of those linebackers will have to be coming back on your terms only.
That's fair.
It won't be any sprinklers or anything like that. I think both guys have represented themselves really well here, and both can play, both have done, and you see the importance of having somebody, because Philadelphia just won a world championship with a guy that the Green Bay Packers wanted out of here in Oren Burks. They lose their guy, and Oren Burks steps in, plays inside linebacker, and played well enough to win a championship. So I think you have to be mindful of, let's not just keep thinking, we'll put Hopper in there. Well, these young guys, you still want to have some guys that when stuff goes south, you have a guy or two that are there that are going to be great special teams, core guys that can step up, and we're not worried about, is there going to develop it? You want to have guys around like that aren't breaking the bank, that can be great locker room guys, that can do all the special teams and take ownership of that group. That would be the answer. I don't know that per se, but I would say either of those two, whoever you feel strongly about, and whoever, I would guess McDuffie is probably looking at this saying, I want an opportunity to be a starter and to get paid, would be my guess. And I think Eric Wilson's at his point in his career where he wants to have a job.
Yeah, both fair. Rochelle the musical, Corey Ballantyne. TJ Slayton, for me, is the one guy that I'm thinking, they were pretty good against the run. So is he worth spending on, and is somebody else going to see him as a more valuable piece, and you don't pay him so you can get Oso from Dallas that only Hunter Vaughn knows how to pronounce his name correctly?
I think Slayton's an interesting one because he's a big body, and, I do think he helps solidify some things, but it just feels like to me, especially as Kenny Clark gets older, you better have some guys that got some wiggle and got some explosivity that are going to wreck things in the backfield. You want to see how you stop Patrick Mahomes, how you get after Jordan Love, how you got after Stafford. You get a couple of Georgia Bulldogs that are dogs and are incredibly disruptive. You're not going to find Jalen Carter just sitting around. That's not going to happen.
True.
But you need to be thinking in that direction. You still want guys that are big bodies and that can stuff quarterback sneaks and runs and the things that I think Slayton is really good at. Is Slayton jiggly enough to get in that backfield and be disruptive? if you feel like he is, then yes. But if you don't have that wiggle jiggle, Carl Brooks, that to me is where I want the defensive line going. Get up the field and make impact plays in the backfield. I'll give up a little bit from a push standpoint. I'm not interested in having two-gap and run stuff and fools. But with that said, the last thing you can do is have a team come in and just run the ball down your throat. I don't want that either. That's where the Slayton, it's going to have to come down to price. And if he's getting starter money, you got to let him go.
That was a lot of jiggly. Quite a bit of jiggly there.
Wiggle and jiggle. There's guys, and I'm not going to diminish you two when I say this. You have football guys that are
okay. No. You don't get to do that. You don't get to say, I'm not going to diminish you two guys, and then we know exactly where you're going with the jiggle and the wiggle.
No offense.
No.
I don't think you do. I actually don't think you do.
No disrespect. No offense. But go ahead. Fine. If we don't know where
you
where
want
you're going,
me to or you don't?
Let's hear it. Yeah. Tell us.
Well, I think if you were thinking I was going to make fun of your body, no, I'm not. I'm not into the body beautiful deal. That's not where I'm at. I'm saying there's different types of players, and guys will scout and they'll say certain things. There, at this point, you have your big-bodied, square guys that are physical and are two-gappers or won't give ground, and then you got your wiggle-jiggle guys that are going to be, they're going to get pushed out of the way on some when they're rushing the passer, but they got moves. They got explosivity that they're going to get there. They'll get knocked out of the hole, but they'll also make plays in the backfield, and that's more of the wiggle-jiggle, and I like to, as a radio guy, give you a little bit more than just say, they'll be really fast up the field. I'd rather say wiggle-jiggle where they're going to be past people and trying to make moves, wiggling and jiggling, compared to bull rush. That's the only thing, and I get that you guys don't understand.
What did that have to do with us? You're talking down to us.
You guys are acting like I'm saying wiggle-jiggle like I'm being an idiot, and I'm not. I'm just trying to describe it.
No one thought you were being an idiot. We thought you might be about
you
to
said,
be mean.
a lot of wiggle and jiggle in there. A lot of wiggle and jiggle.
It's a funny word.
You said.
It's a funny word. Jiggle's a funny word.
Very
What's
funny.
not funny?
Very fun word.
What's not funny is how much you've struggled on Prize Picks lately, and I think it might be affecting your mood.
Well, we got basketball season. Football wrapped up. The race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on all of your favorite sports. Over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody, and the app is simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projection. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Join Prize Picks. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, and it's available to play in more than 40 states, including California and Texas. But the great state of Wisconsin, that's where you download that app. Use that code WI for the great state of Wisconsin. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks. $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you get $50 just for playing. That's guaranteed. Prize Picks.
Run your game. We will get to the 11 o'clock hour.
That wasn't very enthusiastic.
It was kind of jiggly, though.
He's pouting. He's pouting because he's trying to find 3 guys that can be Depoy, Opoy, and Oroy, all for about $400.
I'm sorry, Oroy? Who's that?
Oroy. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Oroy.
Well, would I be getting a rookie in free agency for minimum money?
There's undrafted free agents,
works.
yeah. No, there's undrafted free agents outside of the draft.
I didn't realize that's what I was doing. We will do the Jair Alexander conversation, and we'll do it next at the top of the 11 o'clock hour. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good morning, Madison and streamers everywhere. I'm Jesse Nelson, Sports Center, brought to you by Milwaukee Brewers Baseball on ESPN Madison. Listen to every game this season, starting with the spring training opener this Saturday, right here on Madison's new home of Milwaukee Brewers Baseball, 100.5 ESPN. Big college basketball game tonight at the Kohl Center at 7:30 is the tip time tonight, nationally televised on FS1. The 11th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers host the Illinois Fighting Illini. Wisconsin listed as a 3.5-point favorite at home, according to ESPN Bet. And that comes after Wisconsin suffered one of its 5 losses this season at the hands of Illinois back on December 10th in Champaign. Plenty to get set for tonight's game all day long here on 100.5 ESPN. And if you missed yesterday's conversation on Wilde and Tausch with Badgers radio broadcaster Matt LePage, check out the full podcast available on Apple, Spotify, Wisconsin On Demand, wherever you get your podcasts, including the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. More college basketball tonight. 16th-ranked Marquette is at home against Seton Hall. Tip time at 8 o'clock on our sister station, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Zimbrick Honda's Prep Mania boys basketball tonight. Middleton at Sun Prairie East at 7 o'clock.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down on my last breath. Even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on. I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And it begins where Tausch wanted to begin when we first started this conversation, and that is with Jair Alexander. Is it wrong of me to think this is pretty cut and dried? He gone, as you once said.
He gone. Yeah, there's been speculation, and I think when he was unable to play, and I don't know the ins and outs of this, but you could tell it felt a little Debockish to me, where there was some, I guess, angst.
Obvious
about,
frustration.
We think you can
publicly.
play, and the players obviously are going to have to feel like they can go out and perform. And when he played 8 or 10 snaps, and I don't remember which game that was, Chicago maybe, and then couldn't play and didn't really dress or play again, you kind of knew that is the way this thing is going to go. And with the salary and with all of the other stuff, I just think the idea of getting anything back trade-wise, I don't see that. It'd be great if that could be the case, if Green Bay could get a conditional 7th, whatever it might be. But Jair's time in Green Bay is coming to an end. And I think he had – I don't know how you would rank his career, because early on, I think as Goody's first-round pick, he was a great pick until he wasn't. And, injuries catch everybody in this business, almost everybody. And the way he played, his approach, the 2 picks against Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game, he was a dog. He let you hear about it. I think he brought an edge. And unfortunately, he just could not stay healthy. So I appreciate what Jair brought to this team, but I think his time here it should be a very easy decision for Goody. And it's thank you for your service. We wish your family the best. Good luck in the rest of your career, but it will not be in Green Bay.
Is there any risk to that he goes somewhere else and becomes the player that he has been in the past?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
he could still
fear that.
No, I think if he can stay healthy, I think he can still be a very good corner in this league. But will he be where I had him as a decoy 4 or 5 years ago? I think those days are gone. So I hope he stays healthy, and I think that's always the risk you take when you let someone go that's still relatively young and still has some runway left. But I don't feel that way in this case. I think you were not, even if he does, that doesn't mean he would have done it here. There has been something goofy going on for 2 years, and I think the Jeff Hafley hire helped suppress a little bit of that and maybe reinvigorate. But it just never got figured out for whatever reason. I think injuries, they do wear on you as a player. It starts affecting you mentally. And then when maybe you don't feel like the organization is buying in and to the whole thing, it just wears on you even more. And I think there's always that case where a fresh start can be good for everybody involved. I don't know if it's good for the Green Bay Packers per se, because you're going to have a cap hit and everything else. But I think that for Jair, this is the best case, and hopefully he can go find somewhere and be a player. And I got a bad feeling he's going to end up in Detroit. That's what I think is going to end up happening.
And then he regains his previous form, and that is not what you want if you're a Packers fan. If he's gone, which we both agree he is, the hell are you doing over there? Because, by the way, it's not just us, right? Josh Jacobs, this was the other part of his Radio Row commentary that didn't get nearly as much run. He said defensive back, meaning cornerback, when he was going through the list of needs if he was the GM. Keyshawn Nixon publicly stating that he doesn't want to return kicks anymore because he's going to be CB1 would be pretty clear indicator that he doesn't expect the theoretical CB1, his friend Jair Alexander, to be back. So it's not just you and I who think this era of Jair is donezo. So what are they going to do there? They like Carrington Valentine. They like Keyshawn Nixon. I don't know if they view him as a number one wideout or number one corner. They're not going to bring back Eric Stokes, are they? He's a free agent. Doubtful. Who hasn't broken up a pass or intercepted a pass in 1,400 snaps or whatever that number's up to now. Maybe we haven't spent enough time considering where they stand in the defensive backfield. Are they going to pull a Ron Wolf and draft 3 of them?
I think we envision Green Bay drafting a guy, but this to me is the spot that you go bond hunting. You wildy this. This is where you go and you find that decoy for $2 million. I don't know where he's at, but that's the wildy plan to me. You go. There are going to be, and this is one of the spots you don't see a lot of young wide receivers come on the market, right? You don't see that a bunch. I think in this case you do see more D linemen and D ends just from a fit stand. There's more guys that will become available, but there will be a lot of veterans that will be available. I don't know what they're going to garner. I believe Carlton Williams was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, busted his face up with the Lions this last year. He might be somebody. This is a spot to me where you go veteran hunting. You find a guy, you let these young guys develop, and then you draft somebody. You just throw competition in that room. You bring a couple of guys in. I would like for them to wildy this and bring in whoever that Zach Bond decoy at $2.5 million. That's what I want to see Green Bay do. Can you do that for me?
I don't know, is Shavarius Ward a guy that would make sense? 49ers didn't play a lot during the second half of the season after he and his wife lost their child, which was tragic. But he's 28. He's a free agent. Is that a guy that would make sense. 28 is not old, but it's not young. I don't know if he's going to be a bargain type player either, because he's been a pretty good player during the course of his career. The Jets have a corner that's going to be on the market, and I'm spacing on his name right now.
Reed?
DJ something, if I remember correctly. I got to look. DJ Reed. Yeah, look at that. Teamwork makes the dream work. By the way, according to Pro Football Focus, the top free agent corners, DJ Reed, so he's not going to be a bargain. You're going to have to pay for him. Shavarius Ward is second. Carlton Davis is fourth. Guess who's third? Rasul Douglas, who's a free agent.
Oh, snap.
Maybe we're talking about the wrong reunions.
Maybe.
But I doubt that he's on that list. All right.
I sense that there was more to that story, why Sewell got traded. I know you ended up getting a third-round pick, but that bridge isn't burned, is it?
Look, I don't know. My understanding from conversations that I had was that because he was a critic of Joe Barry, some people thought he was a malcontent. Matt LaFleur vehemently...
A lot of guys were critical.
Correct.
Were critical of Joe Barry.
Matt LaFleur vehemently denied that, to the point that I believed him, and it wasn't just for
He's
show.
Not making the call, though.
That doesn't
what does
mean
Goody
that.
Feel?
That doesn't mean that Goody didn't think that way. So I don't know. Both Devontae Adams and Rasul Douglas were traded away by Goody. I don't know how that works. If you're looking for work, if you're willing to say bygones are bygones, or if that still bothers you, if you're a grudge holder like me, I don't know how that factors into either one of those guys. Again, I don't expect Rasul Douglas to be reunited with this team, but again, what do I know? All right, I want to get to some of these offensive free agents because Smitty is on the list. Also, the mayor of Door County, and, of course, on the offensive line, Andre Dillard and his 13 snaps last season, and Josh Myers, who maybe we're being too dismissive of the idea of him returning. We'll tell you what Rob had to say about it, and we'll talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has convenient local branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
As you're putting your spring calendar together, we'd love to have you join us Saturday, May 17th for Marco Siki's 7th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to support the American Family Children's Hospital UW Carbone Cancer Center. We're on the Madison Chain of Lakes at 8 a.m., then back at the Alliant Energy Center at 2 p.m. for happy hour, dinner, and live and silent auctions, plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. To sign up and get more info, go to castingforkids.org. Casting4kids.org.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on Twitter for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Mark Tauscher here. Thanks to Chalmers Jewelers, I've gone from stressing out about holidays to absolutely loving them. Scott, Garrett, and the whole team over at Chalmers, they are my go-to squad when I need a gift for my wife. I was there for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, and you better believe I'm going to be there for Mother's Day and our anniversary. Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and in Madison has made my life so much easier. They can do the same for you.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offer the Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Get ready for an unforgettable evening of fine dining and exceptional bourbon. Join us on March 6th for an exclusive 4-course dinner at Buck and Honey's in Sun Prairie. Each course will be perfectly paired with the rich flavors of J. Henry bourbon, whiskey, cocktails, and pours. And that's not all. You'll have the chance to meet the master distiller himself, Joe Henry Jr., and hear firsthand the fascinating story behind the craft of J. Henry bourbon. Spots are limited. Visit buckandhoneys.com to reserve your seat today. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with all service members and their families. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Turn right back around. Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back.
All right, we've gotten to the part in Rob's piece where he addresses Josh Myers, and he acknowledges, and I quote, "This is where the decisions get a little more difficult." Myers started 56 games during his 4 years with the Packers, second-round pick in 2021. I think Rob used this line with us before he wrote it in his story. A longtime NFL offensive line coach, James Campen, said the value of the center-quarterback relationship should not be underestimated. Sounds like something Campy would say. So I think many of us are expecting him to get the John Runyon treatment of, hey, thank you for your service. We appreciate what you've done here, but we're not paying you what somebody else is going to pay you. Runyon got $10 million a year, as Rob points out, from the Giants. Then Rob has this line. Myers would likely cost at least that much. I don't know what to make. And I'm sure Rob talked to a couple of agents who gave him the impression of that. I guess I don't know what to think of his market. I guess there's part of me that wonders if he won't hit the market and find that there aren't that many eager suitors for him. And maybe he's in a position like, was it Robert Tonyan a few years ago where you thought there was going to be a bunch of interest and there wasn't? He had a down year coming off the ACL, and maybe his best option is to come back and play another year on a 1-year middling deal and take another bite at the free agency apple a year from now. What do you see happening with Josh Myers?
No, somebody will pay him. There's just, you see way too many offensive lines, and Josh Myers is big, he's tough, he's physical. I think the question you have with him is how well does he move out in space? And there's just too many spots, too many teams need interior offensive linemen. So the idea that he'll come back for, on a 1-year deal, I think is, very Bawnish, very Wilde-esque, if that's the case. So, I'm not going to say it can't happen.
You're feeding that fed horse a lot today.
Yeah. Somebody's going to pay him what Runyon's getting, and I think Atlanta's center is, I believe, top of market right now, if I'm reading things. That's about 12 or 13 a year. I would bet you can get Myers something similar to what Runyon got, 10 or 11 a year over a 3 or 4 year deal, and I don't think Green Bay will pay them that. Now, if you're correct in your hypothetical in saying that maybe he's 7 or 8 a year, all of a sudden then that gets a little more enticing, and maybe that's something. But my hunch is, and I know they've said all the right things, my hunch is that they feel like they're going to continue to get younger, and they want to make sure anybody that's getting a second deal is playing at a really high level, and they're not just doing it to do it. I think that's where this is going to fall, and maybe I'll be wrong. And by the way, that's a risk. If you think, we'll put Jason's guy Monk in there, he'll play. They didn't even put him in an emergency glass breaking situation where they couldn't block Philly. So a lot happens from year 1 to year 2, a lot. But I believe Elton Jenkins can be your center next year. That's what I believe.
All right, so let me put a bow on this with one question then that covers both offense and defense, because there's one guy on each side. You just mentioned Jacob Monk, who's one of them. Goody believes very vehemently in the draft and develop model, and that young players, sometimes they need time, sometimes they need that year where they essentially redshirt. There's a guy at each of the positions where there's questions that fits that suit. You mentioned Jacob Monk as the possible center option if they want to leave. I mean, look, they got a lot of decisions there. I was texting with somebody that works in the building the other day, and there are more questions on the offensive line than I probably considered there being, with how long-term of an answer is Rasheed Walker? What are you doing with Sean Ryan? Where is Jordan Morgan's best position? Do you want to move Elton, or do you want to keep him where he is? Do you think Zach Tom needs to be paid ASAP, or are you going to wait and see on him after the pec injury limited his level of play this past season? But Jacob Monk is an option. Whether he's a great option, I don't know. I don't know enough about Jacob Monk at this point. On the other side, and Montana Mo was bringing him up in the YouTube comments as well, I think they really like Kalen King, who they kept on their practice squad, a guy that went into his final year at Penn State as a first-round graded player by our friend Mel Kiper. And by the end of his final season in Happy Valley, he was a 7th-round pick by the Packers, who spent the entire year on the practice squad. Is it realistic to think that either of those guys can go from essentially redshirting their rookie seasons in the league to being starters or starting caliber guys in 2025, or is it more realistic to find Zach Bond of 2025 and get a cheap guy that becomes an all-pro? What's more realistic?
The development of these young guys. Everybody doesn't just jump in and play. You have to, and even when you do, there is a lot of growing that you have to have. And you can ask any of us that played early in our careers, you're swimming for a little bit. You're just swimming and you're trying to stay afloat. You're not really, at that point, your feet under you until you got probably 8 or 10 games in you. These guys were not ready this year. That doesn't mean that they can't elevate. And to find a needle in a haystack like Bond and then move him and have the foresight to do that, kudos to Philly for doing it. It can happen. It's rare. It's not rare for a young player. Sean Ryan was left for dead. Oh, he can't play. Oh, he's a 3rd-round pick. Oh,
it's true.
And then he has continued to grow, and now I think most of us view him as somebody. I don't know if they're going to pay and keep him, but I thought he had a decent year last year. I don't know, I'm not in there breaking down film and, getting to that point, but I thought he did. He's an aggressive player. You have to let these guys get acclimated and play. That's the only way you can really tell. And if you don't think they can even do that, then you don't keep them on your team. You don't let them develop. You get rid of them. They obviously felt strongly enough about Monk. They never practice squatted him. Kalen King, they did. But they're going to get opportunities in these off-season and the OTAs and the IPWs and everything else to grow into earning opportunities to show that they belong. Most NFL careers happen that way.
We will shift gears to Wnelly coming up, but right now, it's Dame time. Dame time. It's Dame time on Behind the Bucks on Bucks Plus and the Bucks Plus Audio Network. It's Dame time on Season 4 of the Behind the Bucks podcast presented by Gallagher. Explore Bucks superstar Damian Lillard's unlikely journey from a 2-star high school prospect to a top 75 player in NBA history. The series, narrated by senior NBA insider Chris Haynes, reveals exclusive details of Dame's trade to the Bucks and experience with the team. Find Behind the Bucks on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app. I just got the alert about these episodes on the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Wnelly is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Making the switch to solar energy is easy with Everlight Solar. Mark Tauscher here, and with vacations and big sporting events and other fun events coming up, we would all love to have a few extra bucks in our pocket. How would you like to start saving money while also helping save the planet? All you have to do, make the switch to Everlight Solar. Our family is one of many who have made the switch to solar over the last several years. And also, like many others, we weren't exactly sure where to even start when we came to that conclusion. And that's when we met with the great team at Everlight Solar. They outlined the entire process and educated us on the benefits of making the switch. It was super simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more. Schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
Talk Badger sports year-round with the Jump Around podcast.
It's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. You look back at Barry Alvarez and everything that he's done, it's the reason that Coach Fickell has picked this place.
Tune in for the top Badgers conversations every week, featuring special guests with Wisconsin players, coaches, and more.
We look back and we know the history of this place, right? The history in this place is winning, and it's time to bring that history back.
The Jump Around, brought to you by Steinhoffels, streaming live every Thursday on the ESPN Madison YouTube channel and available wherever you get your podcasts.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella Windows and Doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
Get your Papa Shot on and compete to be the Bud Light Mini Hoops Mania champion. Hey, it's Ben Brust inviting you to Bud Light's Mini Hoops Mania in Madison. A trip to Vegas during the best time of the basketball year is on the line. On February 22nd, head to the College Club from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. or Red Rock from 10 to 11 p.m. to compete in the first round of Mini Hoops Mania. Go all the way and have a chance to win $10,000 in Vegas. It's Bud Light's Mini Hoops Mania. Must be 21 years or older to play. Also enjoy responsibly at Wando's and Jordan's Big Ten Pub.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Looking for the new ride of your dreams this Valentine's season? Your new love is waiting for you at Metro Kia of Madison. We have over 129 new vehicles ready for you to take home today. Drive off in a brand new 2025 Kia Sportage with financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months, $17.48 per 1,000 borrowed. Or upgrade to the spacious 2025 Kia Telluride with rates as low as 4.49% for 48 months, $22.83 cost per 1,000 borrowed. Don't wait, these deals end February 28th. So head to Metro Kia Madison today.
When you've been seriously injured, you'll need a team with knowledge and experience to get the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
ESPN Wisconsin has the players, and now we have the coach.
They better get season tickets right now because before long, they probably won't be able to.
The Great Dane Huddle with Barry Alvarez. Mondays on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel.
Time now for Wnelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Wnelly
on Wilde and Tausch.
Four Nations face-off rematch for the championship on Thursday night. USA versus Canada. After the much-maligned all-star games from the Pro Bowl a couple of weeks ago, the NBA all-star festivities over the weekend, this is the most this might be more anticipated than Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final was last year with the Florida Panthers winning. What level of excitement, I'll ask, do you have to watch on ESPN Thursday night, USA-Canada in Boston, round 2 for the title of the Four Nations Face-Off inaugural tournament, Tausch?
10. I'm excited. I think it's...
A 10 is like Packers Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, I mean, why are you always doing that? I'm excited. I want to watch it. It's a big-time sporting event. I think the fact that you have all this stuff on the outside going on adds to it. Then you add another layer of the fighting and the just... I love the fact that guys care about playing for their countries. I love it.
They're proud of their country.
That passion drips through the TV screen. And for this... You're seeing guys out there playing, the Kachuk brothers, punching people and flying into the net, busting up their, and they're going to be out there competing in an exhibition. And we have other guys that's got a sore little piggy, and they're not going to go play. Like, I just love the fact they care, and they're going to compete, and you're going to see high level of love of the game. I'm all in on watching that on Thursday night. As long as it's not on Peacock.
You got nothing going on. You don't have any kids to take to practices or anything. You're going to sit down and you're going to watch that game from start to finish. Is that what's going to happen on Thursday night?
I said what I said. Okay. I said what I said.
I look forward to Friday for the full recap of the Four Nations finale. We will discuss the substitution patterns by Canada and everything else you want to know about the Four Nations final. I will probably forget to watch.
We're not going to do that, but I'm definitely going to watch it on Thursday night. Right. I can say that much.
All right. Well, I can't
it's
wait
on
to
ESPN.
hear about it.
It's on the ESPN app. Like you can sit and you can hide under one of your little picnic tables, put your phone on, Jason, while you're typing Lord knows what, and watch the game.
Go to De Pere High School. I hear they have good Wi-Fi.
Certainly better than the volleyball facility we were in. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly.
Talking free agency, the Cincinnati Bengals in the news in the last 24 hours. because they've taken an interesting approach. They have 3 coveted guys, veterans, who have been talented individuals: Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. They're all going to be on the market, and they have announced they want to sign all of them and bring them all back.
Uh-huh.
What's really happening with the Cincinnati Bengals saying that publicly, Tausch?
PR. What are they going to say? No, we're cheap and we're barely going to pay anybody. T. Higgins won't be a Bengal.
No, they're trading
It doesn't
him.
make any sense.
They're Devontae.
They're going to tag and trade. They'll tag and trade him. They're going to pay Chase. And Hendrickson will be interesting to me. I don't know what they'll do there because they can just – he still has a year left on his deal. They don't have to do anything.
True.
That could be a case where they just play it out and see how Trey wants to approach it. So I think they'll have 2 of the 3 back. That would be my guess.
I still am. Should I just completely dismiss the idea of Trey Hendrickson as a Green Bay Packer?
No, I don't think so. That's more in line with than I think getting Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. I think that this is a more likely option in that regard. And I could see maybe Cincinnati looking at a couple of these young wideouts and saying, "Hey, boys, what about Tay Wicks?"
Wait, you're dealing him?
I'm saying if you want to get this done, I'd be all right with us picking outside of Jaden Reed and Watson. I'm all right doing that. Wow. I'm open.
Trading my guy. All right. Wnelly.
Wnelly! Exciting news for one of our ESPN Madison teammates, Matt Hamilton of Jim, Matt, and Molly, weekday afternoons from 4 until 6. He and his sister Becca are competing at the Olympic trials this week, the mixed doubles curling Olympic trials, televised on Peacock. Watched them win last night after going down 3-0 in the first end. They play at 1 o'clock again this afternoon. Tausch, you going to support Matt Hamilton and his sister Becca and watch any of their Olympic trials as they pursue competing in Italy in 2026 if it means finding Peacock?
I will not be watching it, but I will be supporting. I hope they win. His sister was awesome. They did that thing over in Middleton. It was 3-4 years ago, and she was fantastic. She took Eleanor down. We're teaching her about curling and everything else. They should be heavy favorites, right? That's like the gold standard of mixed doubles curling in the U.S. are the Hamiltons.
I think there's a literal nature to saying they are the gold standard. Yes, they are. The Hamilton team is expected to be one of the favorites. I haven't checked ESPN Bet to see if there's any futures placement you can put on them qualifying for the Olympics, but they are one of the favorites expected to make a run for Italy, no doubt.
What exactly does your support look like if you're not going to watch?
I hope they win. What else do you want me to do?
Like,
I don't know, make a sign.
Cheer them on, yeah.
I publicly saying on our show, I hope they win. I think that's pretty supportive.
Take your boogie board, and during a commercial break, I'd like to put it up and say, "Go Team Hamilton." That'd be support. That'd be
Do
great.
not throw away your shot, Team Hamilton. Wnelly!
Speaking of Jim, Matt, and Molly, I did hear...
Jason, what are you going to do? You're not going to watch it. Don't fake like you're going to watch it.
I think there's a better chance. What time is it at? 1 o'clock
1 o'clock
today?
this afternoon, yep. And they're either in prime
Peacock?
time or at 1 in the afternoon on Peacock, yeah.
I just to be me, I'll be watching that instead of the Four Nations finale on Thursday.
Wnelly! He would, too. You know it.
He's petty. He's pettier than Tom.
Nice. Speaking of Jim, Matt, and Molly, a nice moment yesterday turned into quite the besmirchment.
Uh-oh.
So one of our newest ESPN Madison content teammates, Chrissy Birdsall, we have these different levels of clearance that you have as you seek being on the air. So she achieved one level of clearance, which we haven't come up with a better term for than the speak when spoken to level of clearance. So, like, if she's producing the show, just like I've had that level.
Did Riley get past that yet?
Yes, Riley's been there, Hunter, all the producers you've heard. Everyone at some point experiences you're in the speak when spoken to phase. And then I got thrown under the bus for this yesterday as we were celebrating Chrissy on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I wish Jesse had a speak when spoken to.
I know Jason Wilde feels the same way.
Oh yeah, like I feel like Jason and Mark could implement that back for Wilde and Tausch.
Jesse, down the law.
Unless I say your name, I don't want to hear the words that come out of your mouth.
Seen but not heard.
Right, there you go. Like that.
You are relegated. You are now a YouTube dweller. That's what they call their YouTube fans.
Yeah.
You can comment on the YouTube page whenever you want.
It's Alex Gravatt filling in yesterday with Matt competing at the Olympic trials.
Maybe.
Kind of rude.
Oh, Gravester. Yeah, you haven't jumped in much. Like, I've had to yell your name, and then I think you're snoozing in that back corner. I don't even know what the hell you're doing. So maybe we do need to implement that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. I was looking up the ham U.S. Olympic team trials on my Peacock account, which starts at 1 o'clock. Great photo of the mixed doubles team of Hamilton and Hamilton that they used. I'll get that posted
it was
on
actually,
social media.
So it was really cool because we were watching the SNL 50th anniversary on Sunday night. If you were watching on Peacock, Ryan Wollersheim, the producer of Jim, Matt, and Molly, who's on my list for coming after me there, he said, like, right after the SNL 50th anniversary got done, the promotional screen popped up with Matt and Becca center stage.
Wow!
For the curling trial. So it's kind of cool. Like, that's a prime slot
That's
right there.
extremely cool.
Yeah.
I will get this posted to my Twitter feed so you can see what we're looking for. Again, 1 p.m. It's slated for a 2-hour broadcast on Peacock. I'm also getting reports on the private talk and text line that Chrissy, who I know is one of our young rising stars, which we need to draft and develop and have young talent coming through.
She's a Zach Bond, one could say.
No, I think she's probably a pretty high draft pick based on what I've been told about her work. There are those that believe she is a better play-by-play announcer than one of the people currently on the panel. And since I don't do play-by-play and Tausch does color, he's an analyst, don't you know? There are some suggestions that she may Wally Pip with her elite level play-by-play work.
Does
kind of
Goldstream TV know about this? Is this something that could be...
Better hope not. Is there any truth to this, that she is a rising star in the play-by-play realm, a Lisa Byington type that could leave Jesse in her dust?
Chrissy is a very talented individual, and when she's spoken to, she could tell you all about it.
We will not speak to Jesse anymore today, and we'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Badgers.
I ain't going to be scared to say that this team can make a Final Four.
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
This team's good enough. They are.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, introducing Pizza Hut's new Ultimate Hut Bundle. Get any 2 medium pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and your pick of breadsticks, cheese sticks, or cinnamon sticks with the perfect dip for only $24.99. You want even more? Upgrade to large pizzas or double your wings for just $5 each. Get the ultimate feast for the ultimate value, because this deal is too delicious to miss. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. The Ultimate Hut Bundle. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by the Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company, Madison's home for craft beer and pub food since 1994. Find the Great Dane nearest you and check out the menu at greatdanepub.com. Not how you start, but how you finish. John Tonji a game-high 32 points in Wisconsin's 94-84 win at number 7 Purdue. His post-game words citing teamwork made the dream work. Audio courtesy CBS Sports.
We're just trying to trying to make a play, for our teammates. I want to give a shout out to all my guys, from the top to bottom. And Kamari McGee got ejected, and that's my brother. And we wanted to get it. We told him in the locker room at halftime, we're going to get this win for you. And we came out here and competed. And I'm so proud of these guys for this.
20 wins now for Bucky, the 7th time they've reached that mark under Greg Gard. They'll host Illinois Tuesday night.
Get 0% interest for up to 6 years at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Our team installs year-round, so why wait? Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Matt Hamilton here. As a proud Wisconsinite, I'm all about supporting local. And there's nothing more local than Metcalf's Market. Metcalf's Rewards is your key to incredible savings. With thousands of coupons available every week, loyal members enjoy special pricing on select sale items. Plus, it's free to join. And when you sign up in-store using your phone number, new members instantly receive 500 points, equivalent to $5 off your purchase. Visit Metcalf's Market in Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or in Wauwatosa today. And start saving with Metcalf's Rewards. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Hungry? Quick Trip's got you. Food's here, and it's hot and ready. Check out our appetizers, like crispy tornadoes, packed with bold fillings that'll keep you coming back for more. And experience Quick Trip Zesty Mini Tacos, bite-sized, big flavor, and totally irresistible. No dinner plans? Take home and bake a freshly made Cheese Mountain Pizza. So easy and delicious. Fuel up at your ultimate destination for snacks and meals that hit the spot. Only at Quick Trip.
Hold your friends close and your rivals closer on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Do you think there's a chance that this is strategic by Josh Jacobs? Maybe it creates a little bit of pressure on Goody to be like, hey, not only do the fans want a number one wide receiver, but the players you are paying to play football for you say you're not doing your job because these guys that you drafted, they're good players. They're not Devontae. They're not T. Higgins.
Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Weekdays 4 to 6 on 100.5 ESPN.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
We're on the Badgers.
Who would have thought after 2 seasons?
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
That Greg Gard would have less of a hot seat than Luke Fickell.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
All right, I've got my Peacock accounts signed in. I'm ready for mixed doubles Olympic trial curling with Becca and Matt Hamilton vying for a Olympic berth. They've got a lot of curling all day long on Peacock if you're into that sort of thing while you count the hours leading into the Four Nations Championship on Thursday. Or as you count the hours heading into tomorrow's show when we have Brian Blog and Uncle Homer on Wednesdays, as we often do. Jesse, did you put that poll in the field that Tausch asked for before we go? And what are the early results on the pay that man his money about the kicker, Brandon McManus?
Tausch, have you looked at any of the returns?
I have not yet.
All right, our poll question on X at Wilde and Tausch. What would you rather see the Packers do this offseason? Pay Brandon McManus a top 5 kicker salary or develop a new young kicker? What do you think the voting is at?
I think 70% pay that man his money and 30% the other way.
How about 85%?
Wow.
Pay that man his money.
Oh, we don't have all the Wildy Pearl clutchers in this poll, eh? Interesting.
I got something for you to clutch. All right, that's it for us today. We will do it again tomorrow.
I don't know what that means, and I don't think I like it. Like, that is not – I'm not interested at all, just for the record. What was that? Why don't you get to your curling? Clutch that.
Have fun at the Badger game, Tausch.
Clutch this. Yeah. Tausch will be at the Badgers game, and then he'll be announcing again for the third time this year already that the Badgers will be headed to the Final Four. We look forward to that. We look forward to you coming along for the ride again tomorrow. And thank you for coming along with the ride for us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch? Presented